The male lead read over a dozen novels about real and fake young masters the night before returning home. So, on his first day back, he was already prepared to play the suicide card against me. But I was far too busy with my competitions. I didn't give him even a second thought. My foster parents weren't cruel like the ones in those novels either, and they certainly didn't kick me out. Faced with the manipulative green tea words of the real young master, no one even bothered to acknowledge him. Instead, they actually started asking me if I planned on staying. The corner of my mouth quirked up slightly, a polite, yet incredibly distant smile. There is no need for that. Since your biological son has returned, I have no reason to keep taking up someone else's place. Whatever you wish. The Su patriarch replied with 3 simple words. He didn't care at all about where I went or stayed. Su Jingchen put on a worried expression. You're in such a rush to leave so soon? I just missed our parents, that's all. We can all live together. Can't we, mother, father? I really don't mind at all. He spoke with such feigned kindness and generosity, but I simply dodged his outstretched hand. I turned around and headed straight upstairs. I'll pack a few clothes and be on my way. I'll have a friend come pick me up. Su Jingchen stood there looking dazed. He looked so pitiful and pathetic. He looked after his older brother. Does he hate me? Fine. That's enough. You can stop acting now. This is the first time you two have even met. He stole your identity and your status for over a dozen years. If you want something, just say it plainly. This good brother nonsense. No one's buying it, and it doesn't do you any favors. The Su patriarch was clearly displeased. Starting tomorrow, an etiquette tutor will be here at 8 a.m. sharp every day. Su Jingchen was instantly stunned. But why? This isn't how it was supposed to go. Upstairs, I finished packing and headed back down. I had nothing but a single backpack over my shoulder. Only my most vital documents were inside. I left without even a hint of regret. Did Su Jingchen really think the Su house was some kind of paradise? In this place, the father isn't a father. The mother isn't a mother. Blood ties. They're nothing more than tools for profit and reputation. I can only hope he lasts a little longer in the hands of those maniacs. In the classroom, Su Jingchen stood at the podium with an arrogant posture. Hello everyone, I am the biological son of the Su family, Su Jingchen. The students below didn't react at all. Mr. Su, just take that empty seat in the last row. Xie Kai very decisively cut off his attempt to keep showing off, failing to get the shock and flattery he expected. Su Jingchen grit his teeth and stepped down from the podium. He walked straight to my desk. The lighting is pretty good here. Please move. I leaned back in my chair and looked up. A faint smile played on my lips. Mr. Su, you should really read the student handbook. Seating by student ID number is a school rule. Su Jingchen's expression stiffened. I'm nearsighted. I couldn't help but let out a chuckle, but I didn't say a word, because Xie Kai was already about to stop Su Jingchen's seating grab. Mr. Su, school rules state, you must sit according to your assigned student number, if your vision is poor. Go to the clinic later and get a medical certificate, and I will adjust your seat. Su Jingchen gave me a searing glare. Then he stomped off to the back row. First class of the new semester and its economics so brutal. Everyone seemed unable to focus. They were all practically nodding off, not until the bell rang. Did their drowsiness finally vanish? People started gathering in groups to gossip about the break. I was the latest hot topic. Henning sat on the desk behind me. He leaned forward and thrust a folder in front of me. Appa Xingyuan. The new plan is fresh out of the oven. Take a look. I let out a helpless sigh. I told you this project isn't feasible. You've revised this 3 times already. Haven't you given up yet? But I still opened the document anyway and started skimming through it. My usual close friends all crowded around to chat with me. Seeing us all getting along so harmoniously, there was absolutely no sign of them boycotting me just because I wasn't the Su young master anymore. Su Jingchen clenched his fists. This should have been my circle of friends. This should be my place. Clearly, I'm the real young master of a prestigious family. Is something wrong with their brains? They don't come to greet me. But they are all over here sucking up to Li Xingyuan. Su Jingchen's expression was frighteningly dark. He clenched his fists so hard. His nails were practically digging into his palms. He stood up and walked over. He stood right in front of my desk. Mr. Li, I heard you're the top student in our year. I've never studied economics before. Can you lend me your notes from the past few years? The classroom suddenly went silent for a few seconds. I looked up, my gaze as calm as a deep, still lake. I don't keep notes. You can borrow Yi Jinghuai's though. Ye Jinghuai conveniently held out his own notebook. His smile was as polite and standard as a diplomatic statement. It's nothing. Su Jingchen grit his teeth, as if he had just been humiliated. If you don't want to lend them, just say so. Don't bother making up excuses. An imposter like you pretending to be kind. I looked at him silently, and suddenly chuckled. If you want to pick a fight, just pick a fight. Don't use borrowing notes as an excuse. Why beat around the bush like that? What's the point? Su Jingchen. He didn't expect me to expose him so publicly. He decided to go all in and stopped acting. Looking down at me, he ordered, "Go buy me a bottle of water." He deliberately shook the luxury watch on his wrist. It has to be Jihei brand.
Any other brand?
I'm not used to drinking air. The room went dead silent for a few seconds.
Ye Jinghuai was the first to burst out laughing.
Isn't he embarrassed?
Because I'm embarrassed for him. The people around immediately started howling with laughter. They've been at Shenghua for over 2 years now. This is the first time they've seen such a trashy drama. They've been in my class since middle school. I have a natural gift for business. I have money and I have the connections. Nearly everyone here has a project or property linked to me, as they put it. If they can't be my partners, then I will certainly be their greatest commercial rival later on. As for Su Jingchen, has just an empty vase with a title, with no ability to create value. Yet he dreams of holding absolute power over everything. Hez, so stupid, it's almost pitiful. The mockery was like a series of slaps across Su Jingchen's face. His face burned with hot, stinging pain. Li Xingyuan, you think just because these losers protect you, that you have something to be proud of? Don't. Forget. The Su family is one of the top families in the world. Once the Su family is done with you, you'll forever be nothing more than a stray dog. I will always keep you under my heel. I leisurely capped my fountain pen and closed the file. You just want to fit in, but you can't. So you're just taking your frustration out on me. I looked up at Su Jingchen, my eyes as still as autumn waters. They are willing to be friends with me. Because I never order people to go buy me water. I don't use things like that to prove my worth. Su Jingchen was shaking with rage. I am the true young master of the Su family. Then, do you know that Jihei brand mineral water was exposed last year for having heavy metal levels way above the limit? Su Jingchen's gaze faltered. His face flushed deep red instantly. I acted as if I just remembered something. I glanced at the watch on his wrist and gave a gentle smile.
Oh, right.
That watch on your wrist is a model from 2 years ago, and there's a scratch on the left side of your backpack. The Su family isn't short on cash. Buy from the official stores from now on. Don't let them scam you. A blatant insult. Su Jingchen couldn't hold it back anymore. In a fit of fury, he snatched the paper draft from my desk and ripped it into tiny shreds. Li Xingyuan, top student, my foot. You're just a bankrupt peasant, dreaming of changing your fate. After cursing me, he turned to the crowd surrounding me. And all you idiots too. I suggest you take a good look at the situation. I am the one and only young master of the Su family. Offending me means offending the entire Su family. Watch out or I'll see to it that all your families go bankrupt. Everyone remained completely unfazed. No anger, no indignation. They didn't even bother to argue with Su Jingchen. It felt like throwing a punch into a pile of soft cotton. This feeling left Su Jingchen utterly defeated. Humiliation swallowed him whole. He glared at me with pure hatred, and then bolted out of the classroom. The afternoon was for the semester's first horse riding and golf tests. These tests were held for the entire school. I stood by the stables, brushing the mane of my pitch-black Arabian horse, chasing wind. You're in great shape today. Yay, Jinghuai walked over, but his eyes flickered to a spot not far away, where Su Jingchen was picking a horse. Which one do you think he'll pick? I didn't even bother looking up. As long as it's not breaking space. As soon as the words left my mouth, Su Jingchen's voice rang out. I want this black horse. The riding instructor looked troubled. Mr. Su, breaking space has a very fierce temper. It's not suitable for beginners. Su Jingchen stared at the black horse with pride. He imagined how majestic had looked galloping across the field on it. I just want to give it a try. Maybe I'm the one who can tame it. The instructor still tried to stop him. I set down the brush and walked over. Breaking space seemed to recognize a familiar face. Seeing me approach, it started trotting in circles and reared up its front legs. I kept a safe distance and kindly reminded Su Jingchen. Su Jingchen, if you want to ride breaking space, you need to be careful. Su Jingchen whirled around. His eyes were blazing with anger. Shut up. Who needs an imposter like you playing the saint? I looked at him for 2 seconds, then let out a soft laugh. Fine. If you want to ride it, go ahead. I took a step back and motioned for him to proceed. Su Jingchen's eyes flashed with a smug smile. Thinking had won. He hurriedly stepped into the stirrup. Breaking space suddenly reared up high. Su Jingchen was thrown off before he could even settle in. He landed flat in a mud puddle, looking absolutely miserable. His meticulously styled hair was now full of straw. Gasps of shock echoed around, but they quickly turned into stifled giggles. Su Jingchen's face was beet red with shame. His nails dug deep into his palms. He looked up at me. Resentment flickered in his eyes, but it quickly shifted into a look of deep grievance. Xingyuan, did you let this horse throw me on purpose? I didn't answer. I just walked over silently and stroked Breaking Space's mane. The horse immediately bowed its head obediently. Contrast was glaringly obvious. Su Jingchen's face went from pale to blue. He stood up abruptly and turned to the students watching nearby. You're all bullying me just because I'm new. I didn't even care. I vaulted onto the horse and gave it a light nudge. Breaking Space began to walk, heading toward the open field. Ye Jinghuai rolled his eyes in annoyance and climbed onto Chasing Wind's back to follow me for the test. Each class took their turn. Usually the person with the best riding skills would go first to demonstrate for everyone. There were 6 obstacles in total. Under my lead, Breaking Space tore through the air, clearing them like lightning in a single run, setting an impressive record of 45 seconds. As for Su Jingchen, since it was his first time, he could only clutch the reins tightly. No matter what he commanded, the horse wouldn't budge. His score was 0. Next was the golf test. For people like me, Ye Jinghuai, and Lin Lan who play golf daily for fun, passing the test was absolutely effortless. Su Jingchen, on the other hand, was a lost cause. When he swung, he sent the club flying instead of the ball. Upon returning to the classroom, a cold smirk touched Su Jingchen's lips. He walked up to my desk. He suddenly swiped my water cup off the table. The exquisite thermos hit the floor, making a dull, heavy thud. A large dent appeared on its side instantly. Su Jingchen feigned surprise, but his eyes were brimming with malice. Oops, I didn't mean to. This cup looks quite expensive, doesn't it? I looked at the cup lying on the floor. It was a gift from Ji Zaran. It had an automatic temperature control feature. She went to great lengths to get it for me, so I wouldn't have to drink cold water in the winter. I slowly looked up. My gaze was terrifyingly cold. 28,000. Cash or transfer? 28,000 for a broken cup. Who are you trying to blackmail? Have you gone crazy from being poor?
You really think you're still some young master?
Exactly. Jingchen is the real young master of the Su family. You're just an imposter. Stop pretending to be so noble. I ignored them. I leaned down to pick up the cup, gently tracing the dent with my finger. The entire classroom was deathly silent. Everyone felt an invisible pressure spreading through the room. I spoke up suddenly. Fu Nanyi, last month you begged me to introduce your father to the West City project. I believe the contract hasn't been signed yet. Fu Nanyi was momentarily terrified by my gaze, but she quickly regained her composure. You're nothing but a fake. You've already been kicked out by the Su family. Who are you to still act like a young master? I didn't say much. I just quietly pulled out my phone and searched through WeChat, and sent 2 messages to the person in charge of the West City project. Ye Jinghuai glanced at the person standing behind Su Jingchen, whose head was bowed low. Feng Wu stood there without saying a word. Ye Jinghuai frowned in suspicion. Feng Wu? What are you doing over there? Feng Wu straightened up, acting as if he was choosing the right side. Choosing a better place to belong. Xing Yuan, don't blame me. His words clearly meant Head decided to be Su Jingchen's lackey. I just smiled and said nothing. I've never liked interfering in the fate of others. Su Jingchen let out a triumphant huff. Li Xingyuan, see that? They'd rather follow my every command than speak a single word in your defense.
This is what you call status.
A penniless, powerless nobody like you has nothing to be arrogant about. As he finished, a furious shout erupted from outside the door. Who the hell do you think you're talking to? The air in the classroom seemed to freeze instantly. Everyone turned toward the source of the noise. A girl with bright blonde hair and a bold personality stood at the door. Her gaze was as sharp as a blade. She first scanned Fu Nanyi and Feng Wu. Total disgust was written all over her face, like she was looking at something filthy. Then she placed a pastry box on my desk. Her movements seemed rough, but she was actually careful not to damage the box at all. Go back to the furnace and get recast. Maybe it'll save those empty brainless heads of yours. If you love being dogs so much, why not just go guard the school gates? It fits your expertise perfectly, and you'd actually get paid for it. When she turned her gaze towards Su Jingchen, her expression became even more revolted. Her brow furrowed so deeply it could have crushed a fly. With such a cursed-looking face, and those half-blind eyes, you should head to the hospital for treatment. Stop polluting the air with your filth. You're ruining this young master's mood. Su Jingchen was so shocked by the sudden insults his eyes nearly popped out. His face turned as red as a beet instantly. I lowered my eyes and smiled softly. Then I slowly untied the silk ribbon on the box. I picked up a red bean pastry and took a small bite. I looked up at Xu Qingru with a knowing smile in my eyes. The flavor is actually quite good. This is from Wu Feng's eye, right? When Xu Qingru turned to face me, rage on her face vanished completely. It was like she had 2 different faces. She switched to a beaming expression, looking for praise. Of course it is. I traveled over 1,000 kilometers just to bring this to you. Aren't I the best friend ever? I nodded slightly, expressing my satisfaction. I lifted the box and shared it with the friends around me. Shanghai specialties that Xu Qingru went to such lengths to bring. Xu Qingru turned back, throwing a fierce glare at those people, but her words were directed at me. Ji family's young lady is arriving soon. I'll head to the principal's office with her for some tea. And, well, have a nice long talk with him about the interesting things happening here. Su Jingchen finally snapped out of his shock. He slammed his hand on the desk. Who the hell do you think you are? What right do you have to speak here? Ye Jinghuai crossed his arms and scoffed. This is the genius designer, Xu Qingru, distinguished alumna of Shenghua's 19th class and a key member of the Alumni Association. An alumni association is just a bunch of old students. It's not that big of a deal. Fu Nanyi's face suddenly turned as white as a ghost. Only now did she suddenly remember that even if I wasn't the Su family's young master anymore, none of the friends around me were ordinary people. Years ago, a story circulated within elite circles about a rich young master who had dared to insult me. And then, the very next day, his family's company lost billions in market value, and they were kicked out of high society instantly. Fu Nanyi rushed to apologize. She reached out to grab Xu Qingru's sleeve. Nuna, I know I was wrong. Xu Qingru looked disgusted and stepped back to avoid her, as if the other girl was carrying some kind of virus. Who are you calling Nuna? I suggest you install an antenna on your head, so you can always be aware of your actual place. With that, she walked out of the classroom without a second look. Her arrogant demeanor left people grit their teeth in frustration. After heading downstairs, she happened to run into Ji Zaran, who was hurrying over. After a brief summary of the situation, the two of them headed toward the administration building in sync. In his office, the 50-something principal was leisurely sipping tea. When the door was kicked open, his hand gave a sudden jolt, splashing tea all over the painting. Head just bought and placed right in front of him. He hurriedly set down his teacup and began agonizingly wiping the droplets off the paper. "Can't you two knock before entering?" Looking up at their grim, death-like expressions, his heart skipped a beat with uneasy dread. Shu Qingru sat down nonchalantly right in front of the desk. "What's there to knock for? Why bother? My young master is being bullied right here in this school. Who has the peace of mind to knock at a time like this?" Before the principal could even open his mouth, the person leaning against the doorframe, Ji Zoran, spoke coldly while fiddling with her car keys. "Schools are supposed to forbid cliques, as well as all forms of school violence. My childhood friend is being trampled upon by others. If the school still refuses to step in and handle this, then let me send someone to teach you how to rip this door off its hinges." Cold sweat began pouring down the principal's forehead. On one side is a world-renowned genius designer. On the other is the current head of the G group. Under this terrifying double pressure, he wouldn't dare not to resolve it. Furthermore, the young master Shu Qingru mentioned, and the childhood friend Ji Zhaoran spoke of, is none other than Li Xingyuan, the 12th grade's consistent top student. A person with a terrifyingly vast network of connections. Not to mention his two eccentric older sisters. If anything were to happen to him, Shanghua Academy would certainly never see another peaceful day. The principal suddenly slammed the desk and stood up, adopting a look of righteous indignation. "I never imagined such a terrible situation could occur. Just wait and see. I will strictly punish those students involved in bullying, to give you all the most satisfactory explanation possible." At that very moment, in the classroom, Su Jingchen was still dazed and confused. "Shez, just a graduated student. What is there to be so afraid of?" He turned to Fu Nanyi, who was dead silent with fear, and frowned in annoyance. "What are you trembling for? Trembling like a leaf? What a useless loser. He can't boss me around." He decided to vent his anger and assert dominance over the others. He gave a disgusted glare. Feng Wu was cowering in a corner. He ordered, "Go to the supermarket and buy me a Coke. I want it ice cold."
Right now?
Feng Wu pursed his pale lips. Lowering his head, he hurriedly ran out of the classroom. Class hasn't even started yet. The school's loudspeaker announced the discipline of Su Jingchen and Feng Wu, as well as Fu Nanyi and several others. Furthermore, it repeatedly emphasized the strict prohibition of forming gangs to isolate and bully classmates in school. Upon hearing the disciplinary announcement, Su Jingchen was stunned. "What? Disciplined on my very first day of school? The young master of the Su family, punished just for breaking Li Hengyuan's cup? Are the people in this pathetic school all blind?" Su Jingchen's little gang was forced to disband shortly after it was formed, amidst the crowd after school. I instantly recognized Li Chuying with her incredibly striking figure and appearance. "Sis." Two voices rang out at the same time. I looked toward the sound, and saw Su Jingchen smiling brightly, striding quickly toward Li Chuying. Seeing Su Jingchen's beaming face, Li Chuying's heart suddenly became turbulent and conflicted. Su Jingchen didn't notice her unusual behavior at all. He still wore a fresh smile. "Sis, I miss the days we went to school and came home together so much. It's a pity that after moving to Shanghua School, the classmates don't seem to like me very much. I only talk to Xingyuan." While speaking, his smile slowly faded. The corners of his eyes began to redden, as if I were the ringleader isolating him, making him suffer such grievances. The implication in those words, Li Chuying understood it perfectly. Thinking of the days she lived with me, her rebuttal almost blurted out instantly. "Xingyuan isn't that kind of person." Clearly hearing Li Chuying's defense of me, I slightly curled my lips. My footsteps didn't stop for a second. I didn't know young Master Su had such a weird hobby of claiming sisters everywhere. Or do you simply enjoy stealing other people's sisters? Seeing me appear, the gloom in Li Chuying's heart completely vanished. Her crimson lips broke into a soft smile. She didn't spare Su Jingchen another glance. She hopped onto her bicycle. "Xingyuan, let's go home." My eyes flickered slightly. The corners of my mouth slowly rose into a gentle curve. I sat on the back seat. "Yes, let's go home." Watching our backs as we departed, a fire of envy flared in Su Jingchen's eyes. He clenched his fists tightly. His breathing gradually became rapid, until our figures completely disappeared from his sight. Only then did he turn around resentfully, getting into the luxury car he had always dreamed of. "What, sister? That Li family is just a bunch of paupers. I am the true young master of the Su family." The winner. I wrapped my arms around my sister's waist, sitting steadily behind her, softly telling her about what happened at school today. Li Chuying remained silent for a long time after hearing it. "Jingchen really has changed too much. Do you know why the Li family went bankrupt?" I hummed in affirmation. I knew exactly how ridiculous the real reason for the Li family's bankruptcy was. Jingchen always blamed the bankruptcy on the eldest brother's restlessness, always wanting to run off outside. After the bankruptcy, the eldest brother's mental pressure was always immense. Jingchen often verbally abused him terribly. He never argued back. He just quietly endured everything. Li Chuying sighed softly, speaking of the critical point. Her mood was incredibly heavy. Later on, Jingchen's temper became increasingly explosive. That time, he even laid hands on our eldest brother. Wanting to protect the eldest brother, I was shoved by Jingchen. My head hit the wardrobe hard. I got a concussion. It was close to the college entrance exam then, although I was discharged and didn't miss the exam, but I didn't perform well. Our parents negotiated with my homeroom teacher, wanting me to repeat the year and study again. I never intended to ask Li Chuing this question, perhaps because I never truly cared before. Right now, I pursed my lips while listening to the whole story. I asked her, "Daunt, you hate Su Jingchen?" I've never blamed him. After all, he's the brother I loved for 17 years. There is no point in harboring grudges among family. It's just, no one expected him to leave so heartlessly. I looked at my sister's back. I could feel the wave of disappointment rising within her. Treating him with sincerity for 17 years, only to be stabbed painfully in the back, compared to a betrayal of interests. Emotional betrayal is far more agonizing. It's truly hard to accept. Su Jingchen doesn't look like a Su family member at all, but this temperament is definitely cast from the Su family's genetic mold. You can't find a single normal person in that Su family nest. The three-story European-style Su villa stood tall on the mountainside. Su Jingchen stood before the majestic iron gates, looking at this monument of wealth and status. The anger boiling inside him gradually faded. He smirked, letting out a triumphant smile, and walked inside. As soon as he entered, he arrogantly ordered, "Auntie Li, what are you just standing there for? Go make some tea right now."
Yes, young master.
Auntie Li turned toward the kitchen. Her steps were swift yet silent. Ever since the real young master returned, whenever the master and mistress weren't home, all the Su family servants lived in fear, walking on thin ice. Su Jingchen was extremely fastidious and prone to rage. At the slightest dissatisfaction, at best, he'd smash furniture. At worst, he'd point in someone's face and hurl insults. While Auntie Li was brewing tea, she couldn't help but sighed. Young Master Xingyuan was a bit picky too. If the tea wasn't good, or the food wasn't to his taste, he would ask us to change the dish, or have the chef remake it, but at least he never insulted us out of nowhere. And what about the real young master now? Throwing cups one moment, smashing plates the next, the way he looks at us. It's like Hez looking at mere vermin, as if we aren't paid employees, but slaves to be beaten and scolded at will. Su Jingchen's furious voice echoed from the living room.
Not done yet.
Auntie Li jumped, her hands trembling. She almost dropped the teacup. She quickly hurried, carrying the tea out as fast as she could. Su Jingchen was leaning lazily against the high-end leather sofa. His fingertips tapped impatiently on the armrest. He took the teacup from Auntie Li. He took a small sip. The next second, he aggressively hurled the cup at Auntie Li's feet. "What on earth is this crap? It tastes like death." Auntie Li instinctively took half a step back. The scalding tea still splashed onto the back of her hand, immediately turning a patch of skin bright red. She sucked in a breath from the pain, but she didn't dare utter a single groan. "I'm sorry, young master. Go brew another one right away."
Auntie.
She bent down, trembling as she picked up the shards from the floor. A deep, warm male voice suddenly resonated from the stairs. "What's all this noise?" Su Jingchen's entire body froze. He looked up. His face instantly turned pale as a ghost. He saw Mr. Su dressed in a crisp suit, with a gloomy expression slowly descending the spiral staircase. He walked right up to Su Jingchen. He swung his hand and slapped him hard across the face. "Look at yourself. Do you have even a trace of a noble young master's grace? Causing trouble at school on your very first day, and even getting your name on the disciplinary list. You've completely humiliated the Su family name." Su Jingchen clutched his aching face. His eyes immediately turned red. It was them first. Before he could finish, "Mr. Su swung his hand and slapped him again, a heavy blow to his other cheek.
You dare talk back?
"I kept you here, not to make us the laughingstock of the world." Su Jingchen staggered back. He opened his mouth. Didn't dare utter another word of justification. Over the past few days, had tasted enough of this family's coldness and cruelty. In Mr. Su eyes, the Su family's reputation and status are more important than anything else. And he is nothing more than a puppet on a string. Only by knowing his place and following every family arrangement could he hope for a peaceful life. "Butler, bring the family rod here. I must teach him what etiquette and rules are." The butler bowed respectfully. "As you wish, master." Su Jingchen's entire body trembled, in stark contrast to the cold atmosphere at the Su residence. The small house of the Li family was overflowing with warmth and sweetness. Our whole family gathered around the cozy dining table, occasionally serving food to one another. The 2 chicken drumsticks were passed back and forth endlessly. Mom smiled and put a chicken wing into Li Chuing's bowl, and saved the 2 drumsticks for me and my little sister Li Yuyan, one for each of you. The little ones eat drumsticks, the adults eat the tips, and the one in the middle gets the mid-wing. Li Chuing seemed to be in a better mood than usual, perhaps because she had seen Su Jingchen again, and had finally completely let go. "Thank you, Mom." I looked at the drumstick nestled in my bowl, feeling my heart exceptionally warm. "Oh, by the way, Mom," I heard Dad say, "you know a bit about beauty and hairdressing. Have you ever thought about opening a shop?" My mom waved her hands dismissively. "I couldn't. I only know the basics. I can't handle a business, dear. Everything is hard at first, Mom." "Well, grow it bit by bit. Just start with simple things, like selling some beauty-enhancing floral tea, for instance." The location. I've already thought it out.
Right near the school.
We won't have to worry about missing customers. But rent, utilities, Don't worry about any of that. Just let me arrange everything. I've been planning to invest in some new industries lately. Instead of giving money to strangers, investing in your shop is a much better choice. I think that's a great idea. Xingyuan already trusts you enough to invest. That means he believes in your abilities. Are you telling me you don't have the confidence to do it? My mom took a deep breath. Fine. I'll do it.
I believe I can do a good job.
Yes.
I'll give you the address and the shop keys. You can go take a look when you're free. As for the business license, I'll have someone handle it. It'll be done in about a week. I arranged everything very quickly. Just one call to a friend for a favor. A few days later, the business license was already in place. A truly decisive and efficient work style. In the evening, after showering, I returned to my room. After locking the door securely, I lay in bed scrolling through the lively class group chat. I skimmed through the chat history. Most people were talking trash and mocking Su Jingchen. I didn't join in the comments. I left the group and sent a private message to Shu Qingru.
When are you leaving?
How about a meal together? The other side replied almost instantly. Wow, you're not asleep yet. Perfect timing. I'm starting to seriously doubt that Su Jingchen guy's sanity. Guess what he just said to me on the phone? He actually dared to call me low class. I think He's the one who's barely human. He even tried to use the Su family name to pressure me. Does he think the Su family is the center of the universe? I think Bai Yuzhen and Su Jiangguo have gone crazy too. Kicking you out for that brainless idiot. They're so calculating. How did they get the math so wrong this time? The funniest part is, Su Jingchen just finished his call. After his little tantrum, and the invitation to the Su family's recognition banquet just arrived. Tell me, should I go there and slap his face just for the fun of it? My eyes stopped at the last message. I laughed softly and replied with 2 words, childish. Of course, the childish one definitely isn't just Shu Qingru. The next morning, I met Lin Lan at the school gate, mentioning the arrival of the invitations. Ye Jinghuai put his arm around my shoulder, putting on an incredibly upright and solemn expression. But his face was full of schadenfreude towards Su Jingchen's misery. We definitely have to attend the Su family banquet. With such a good show, I absolutely have to livestream the whole thing for Xingyuan to see. Lin Lan knew her childhood friend's temperament all too well. You're not planning to go there and cause a scene, are you? That's the Su family. If you really offend them, your parents will skin you alive. I don't even need to lift a finger. Once the 2 Su family sisters get news of the banquet and find out Xingyuan has left the Su residence, they'll definitely come back and raise hell. Lin Lan raised an eyebrow, giving me a look filled with pity. The young master is finished. I glared at him. Can't you wish for something better for me? Returning to the classroom, Ye Jinghuai pulled a blue-covered award certificate from his bag. He placed it on my desk. Xingyuan, look, done exactly as you ordered. See if this works for you. If not, I'll call and have them make a different one. I'll bring it to you this afternoon. I opened it and took a glance. The wording is perfectly standard. The design and printing can be considered extremely exquisite, except for the lack of the school's official seal. It could almost pass as authentic. Well done, thanks. Lin Lan leaned over curiously to take a look. What are you making this for? I tucked the certificate into my bag. To trick my sister? Thinking back to the question I asked yesterday. Ye Jinghuai suddenly understood. You want to tell your sister that you took her calligraphy to a competition and won.
Then give her your own money as the prize, right? Yeah.
I admitted it very candidly. Lin Lan's lips twitched slightly. So you're not going to tell the Li family about the true reward of this prize? There is no need to hide that. I just want to make them believe there's a cash prize. Presenting this money changes the nature of it. It's no longer me using her for fame. It becomes me being unable to let her talent go unnoticed. Wanting more people to see how outstanding she is. Even though I'm the one receiving the certificate, the prize money goes to her. That proves I have no intention of stealing credit from my sister. I spoke calmly, as if telling an ordinary story, not seeing anything wrong with doing that at all. At this point, even Ye Jinghuai was speechless. School ended that evening. I stood at the school gate waiting for a while, before seeing Li Chuying pedaling toward me at high speed.
Xingyuan, sorry, I'm late?
Gasping for air, she quickly reached out to take my bag. I held the strap tightly, refusing to let go, observing Li Chuying's apologetic face. Sis. When Li Chuying looked up and met my scrutinizing gaze, her pupils flickered slightly, until I saw the trace of regret in Li Chuying's eyes gradually fade away, and she smiled once more. Only then did I look away. I smiled softly and sat on the back seat, holding my bag in one hand and hugging my sister's waist with the other. I'm steady. Let's go. Maybe because I had to deal with those 2 Su sisters every day, that now meeting a good sister like Li Chuying, I want to be even closer to her. My father, Li Yunting, doesn't finish his shift until 7. My mother was busy all day outside sourcing ingredients, preparing for the shop opening. Neither of them had time to go marketing and cook. So tonight we decided to go out for a delicious meal. Mom softly asked Xingyuan, "Do you like hot pot?" I shook my head. I haven't eaten it much. The only time I had it was at Ye Jinghuai's birthday 2 years ago. Everyone gathered at a hot pot place he opened. The flavor was quite good, but perhaps because the prices weren't very affordable, and the wealthy rarely go out for hot pot. So the shop closed after only 1 month. I haven't had hot pot since then.
Li Chuiying suggested.
Then let's have hot pot. The beef hot pot place at the end of the street is pretty good. The ingredients are very fresh too. The decision was made quickly. We got ready briefly, then walked to the hot pot shop together. Inside we chose a large table. After sitting down, Dad handed the menu directly to me, telling me to order whatever I liked.
Freely.
I immediately passed the menu back to Li Chuiying. You order, sis? I just want to enjoy the meal without the work. I'll only take responsibility for the eating part. As soon as those words left my mouth, everyone burst into happy laughter. Li Chuiying looked over the menu. I rummaged through my school bag and pulled out an award certificate and a thick envelope. I gave them to Li Yuyan and began deceiving my little sister, Yuyan. That calligraphy piece you gave me the other day, I took it to a school competition, and it actually won first place. Li Yuyan opened the certificate. She was overwhelmed by the exquisite patterns on it.
Wow.
This certificate is so beautiful. Yeah, but since I entered it under my name, the certificate has my name on it. This prize money belongs to you. You keep it, okay? My father was also intrigued. First place. That's amazing. Let me see it. He took the certificate from his youngest daughter's hand. While the envelope was passed to my mother, my father admired the certificate. Shenghua School's certificates are truly something else. It's so elaborate and beautiful. I rested my chin on my hand, not feeling guilty at all. My mother suddenly cried out in surprise. This much prize money, a full 5,000 yuan. Shenghua is a school for the wealthy mom. This prize money is just symbolic. Li Yuyan's eyes widened. Big brother, this prize money. Are you really giving it all to me? My expression didn't change. My heart didn't skip a beat. That's right. It was yours to begin with since you won. Big brother, maybe you should just keep this money. If you hadn't used your entry slot for the competition, then my calligraphy would never have had the chance to win. So since it won, the prize money should rightfully be yours. I looked at Li Yuyan blankly. For a long time, I didn't know what to say. I've always been surrounded by relationships based on mutual benefit. Suddenly having such sincere family members made me feel a bit awkward and unaccustomed. With Li Yuyan speaking like that, my mother also hurriedly shoved the envelope back into my hand. That's right, Jing Yuan. This money, you keep it for yourself to spend. I gripped the envelope tightly. My mind was suddenly a tangled mess. That calligraphy piece will be auctioned at school. The starting price is 5 million yuan. The entire auction amount will be donated to charity under my name to build Hope primary schools in poor mountainous areas. I've already gained the reputation, so Yuyan must definitely take this money. No, that's not it at all. Big brother, it doesn't matter whose name the donation is in. If my work can help raise money to help other children go to school, then I'm already so happy. My writing was worthless on its own. It was you who made it valuable. So the prize money belongs to you, rightfully. Li Chuiying chimed in, Xingyuan.
Yuyan is absolutely right.
You were the one who gave value to her strokes. Whether it's 5,000 or 5 million, it's all thanks to your efforts. I frowned slightly. Still not quite understanding, I decided to just put the envelope and certificate back in my bag. I'll buy Li Yuyan a piggy bank tomorrow and stuff all the money inside. That way, even if she doesn't want to, she'll have to accept it. After dinner, Li Chuiying said she wanted to take me for a walk around the neighborhood to get familiar with the streets and also to walk off the meal. Our parents took Li Yuyan home to bathe first, around 8 or 9 in the evening. The city streets were brightly lit. The shops lining the roads echoed with the lively greetings of the staff. Li Chuiying suddenly turned to look at me. Her eyes were filled with warmth. Xingyuan were family. There are many things we don't need to calculate so strictly.
That award certificate earlier.
It wasn't issued by your school, was it? My heart suddenly skipped a beat. Can you read Hindi?
I can't.
But I know that Shenghua School has never given out cash prizes. I pursed my lips tightly. I couldn't say a single word in response. I won't interfere with your decision, but you need to understand this clearly. The way we treat you well has never been about wanting anything in return from you. It's simply because you're our family, and I hope that one day you will truly accept us as your kin. I rubbed my nose and gave a quiet hum of agreement. On the way, passing by a souvenir shop, I stopped in to buy a piggy bank that only allows money in, never out. Li Chuiying guessed what I was planning, but she didn't stop me. After buying the piggy bank, we sat in a corner of a milk tea shop, folding each of those 5,000 yuan bills and stuffing them into the pig's belly. As I was folding the paper money, I casually asked her, "What major do you want to choose later? Law, perhaps?" Li Chuiying answered decisively, but she seemed a little bit uncertain. I stopped what I was doing, turned my head, and stared at her meaningfully for a few seconds. The legal profession has great prospects. No matter how much technology advances, lawyers will always be needed. And the income is quite handsome too, but I don't think it suits you. Li Chuiying chuckled. Then I'll apply for the teaching program and become a teacher after I graduate. I think the students would just end up bullying you. Li Chuiying couldn't stop laughing at that. At home, Li Yuyan was sitting at her desk doing homework. Suddenly, a ceramic piggy bank appeared by her hand. She tilted her head and looked up, meeting my smile. Her eyes were filled with curiosity. I leaned against the wall, This pig is for you. You can only put money in, but you can't take any out. I've already put that 5,000 yuan reward inside for you. From now on, you can put your lucky money in there too. If an emergency ever happens one day, and you need money urgently, then you can smash it open. Li Yuyan blinked her eyes innocently.
What counts as an emergency?
I thought for a moment. Like last year, for example, when your sister accidentally hit her head. If things were more serious, this money of yours could very well save a life. So, make sure you save your money well. I gently patted my little sister's head. Then I turned around and left. Li Yuyan stared at the little white pig. Money isn't just for eating or buying clothes. In critical moments, it can save your family. From now on, I will definitely save money diligently. She carefully held the piggy bank and put it in the bottom drawer of her desk. After finishing my shower, I put on my pajamas and climbed into bed, lying down and tucking myself in properly. After lying there for a while, I sat back up again, turned on the floor fan next to the bed, leaned against the headboard, and called Ji Zaran. Does the young master have any orders? Could it be that you missed me? I'm just bored and wanted to chat with you. Zaran laughed brightly. Does the young master want the 50-cent chat?
Or the $5 one?
I have to pay a fee now. I'm not the one paying. The young master took the initiative to talk to me. I'm definitely coming out on top here. I couldn't help but laugh. Then I'll have to charge by the hour. $5 an hour. Okay. Ji Zaran glanced at the clock. It's 9:30. Won't you give me a friendship discount? 2 hours for 520 yuan. What do you think? I lay on the bed, my chest shaking with laughter. You really know how to run a business. How's work going? Ji Zaran stopped what she was doing and leaned back in her office chair, focusing entirely on talking to me. It's almost done. The documents that needed signing are all finished. I'll take them to be notarized tomorrow. It should be approved in about 2 or 3 days. I gave a distracted hum of acknowledgement. Then I told Ji Zaran about what happened tonight. Ji Zaran found it amusing. Are you feeling scared? I didn't deny it. Instead, I didn't understand. What is there to fear? You are afraid of familial bonds. I remained silent for a long time, and I didn't speak. Ji Zaran smiled.
Xing Zhao Yuan.
Some things can't be figured out with just your mind. You have to feel them with your heart. You deserve to enjoy all the love in the world, and you're strong enough to face any turn of events. There's nothing to worry about. Ji Zaran's words settled my heart significantly. The Li family went bankrupt 2 years ago. At that same time, I also discovered I wasn't the Su family's biological son. After I told Ji Zaran about this, she started calling me Xing Zhao Yuan, as if she were intentionally erasing my surname.
Xing Zhao Yuan.
No matter what your last name is, no matter what happens in the future,
I will always be by your side.
Perhaps she was the true support that gave me the strength to leave the Su family. The young woman's slightly cold voice came through the phone.
Xing Zhao Yuan.
Just keep moving forward. I'll always be right behind you. I responded with a faint smile. I know you're my trump card.
Even if I have to bet everything.
And go all in just once. As long as you're here, I will never lose. In the blink of an eye, it was Saturday night. The Li Hai Kin Tea Group's commercial banquet was held at a suburban estate. The scale was no less than the recent banquet. The Su family's centennial celebration, it carried a hint of rivalry, but it inadvertently gave Su Jiangguo and his wife an opportunity to introduce their newly returned son, Su Jingchen, to the business world. Their objective was beyond question. They wanted to find him a marriage partner of equal social standing and to seek out elite allies for the Su family. Inside the banquet hall, the lights were dazzling. Guests were bustling in and out. The sound of clinking glasses echoed throughout the room. On the second-floor balcony, a few people were holding champagne glasses, leisurely enjoying the unfolding drama. Ye Jinghuai was fiddling with the camera in his hands. I wonder if we'll capture anything interesting tonight. Lin Lan rested both hands on the railing. She looked down at Su Jingchen being introduced to the elite by his parents. That annoying Su Jingchen has probably the most smug person here right now. Look at how proud he's acting. Ye Jinghuai finished adjusting his gear and turned his head to look. He looked puzzled. Xing Yuan, why are you so quiet? I stood in the corner, holding a glass of sparkling water, occasionally glancing toward the entrance, always feeling an ominous premonition. In the shimmering banquet hall, Su Jiangguo and his wife led their son, Su Jingchen, moving through the socialites as if surrounded by 1,000 stars. Can't then? This is Ms. Lei of the Lei Nuo Group. She just graduated from Dengqing University abroad. Despite her youth, she manages all Southeast Asian operations. Su Jiangguo introduced her with a smile, his voice brimming with pride. Su Jingchen nodded slightly. I've admired Ms. Lee's reputation for a long time. I heard you acquired a top-tier winery last month. A flicker of surprise appeared in Ms. Lee's eyes. She immediately replied, Young Master Su is quite well informed. When you're free, I invite you to my winery for a tasting. Kanj then just returned to the country. So Hez still unfamiliar with the capital. You young people should socialize more. Not far away, some wealthy heirs were whispering. Look, the Su family. Isn't that new young master the former son of the Li family? They raised him pretty well over there. The Li family used to be a powerful clan too. How could his breeding be poor? The Su family brought him here today. It seems Hez highly valued. Biological children are naturally treated differently. Look at the one before him. He never got this treatment. Su Jingchen heard the praise around him, and a gleam of satisfaction appeared in his eyes. He slightly raised his gaze, scanning the entire banquet hall. The socialites who once ignored him were all looking at him with fervent eyes. Right at that moment, the piercing roar of an engine suddenly rang out. The crystal chandeliers in the hall shook violently. My gaze darkened. I quickly hid behind a Roman-style pillar. Before anyone could process what was happening, the entire floor-to-ceiling glass wall on the west side shattered. Shards of glass rained down like a downpour. The wealthy heirs scrambled, covering their heads. Guests rushed to clear the way. An Apollo IE sped from the back lawn directly into the hall. The wheels crushed champagne glasses and French pastries scattered on the floor. It screeched to a halt right in front of the stage. The car doors flipped up like eagle wings. A pair of long legs stepped out from the thick smoke. The white smoke gradually cleared, revealing hair as cold and platinum as moonlight. With such a distinct appearance, there wasn't a second person like her in the capital's high society. Someone gasped with a trembling voice. The second Miss Su Yujie leaned against the car door. A wicked, wild smile played on her crimson lips. Sorry, I'm a bit late. Su Jiangguo, his face pale with rage, barked at Su Yujie. What do you think you're doing? This is a commercial banquet. A half-smiling violence lurked in Su Yujie's eyes. So what? You're using this chance to introduce my biological brother to everyone. So I just dropped by to visit my precious little brother. She seemed to suddenly remember something.
Ah, right?
I brought a special gift, saying that she reached into the car and pulled out a cake. She placed it on a table, under everyone's stunned gazes. She leisurely took the cake out of its box. Fortunately, it's not completely ruined. Her voice was incredibly cheerful, as if she had actually come to celebrate Su Jingchen. However, when they saw the carefully prepared cake, their shock instantly turned to horror. The cake clearly bore Su Jingchen's face. The neck was covered in dark red strawberry sauce, looking like a bloody, severed head. Su Yuji carried the cake over to Su Jingchen. I made it myself. Do you like it, little brother? Su Jingchen's legs went weak. He collapsed onto the stage. Su Jiangguo was shaking with rage, but he didn't dare take a single step forward.
Su Yuji.
What kind of madness are you doing now? Su Yuji, holding the cake in one hand, threw it straight at the champagne tower that had narrowly escaped earlier. The tower finally collapsed with a crash. She walked over the shards of broken glass, stepped onto the car's hood, and stood triumphantly on the roof. She pulled a stack of photos from her pocket. Her red lips curled into a wicked smile. You haven't even seen me at my craziest yet. She swung her arm. Hundreds of photos scattered through the air. The photos showed Su Jingchen acting like a tyrant at home or in luxury stores, causing trouble and acting arrogantly. A few photos drifted up to the second floor, to the balcony area, landing right at my feet. I leaned down to glance at them. My gaze suddenly turned serious. They were all screenshots from surveillance cameras. If Su Wanning didn't have a hand in this, I truly wouldn't believe it. Su Yuji jumped from the car roof to the ground. So, it turns out my little brother likes making people kneel to serve him. Su Jingchen's face was as pale as a ghost. His voice trembled. Besides, you can't just make fake photos to smear me because you miss Xingyuan. Someone like you dares to mention his name. You're not even worth a single strand of Li Xingyuan's hair. Her voice was as soft as if she were whispering sweet nothings, but the grip of her hand felt like she wanted to crush Su Jingchen's jaw. Su Jingchen was in so much pain that tears welled up instinctively. He looked at Su Yujie in terror, before anyone could react. She snatched the watch off Su Jingchen's wrist.
What are you doing?
Su Jingchen screamed and tried to lung forward to take it back.
Su Yuji
pulled a micro camera out from inside the watch. She crushed the device right in front of everyone. Xingyuan got bored of these petty tricks long ago. This redundant garbage. Su Jiangguo's face looked even worse than before. He raised his hand and delivered a powerful slap to Su Jingchen's face. Explain this clearly.
What exactly is this thing?
Su Jingchen clutched his stinging cheek.
Dad, it's not mine.
Another slap landed. Su Jiangguo's hand was trembling uncontrollably.
You still dare to lie.
Su Yuji leaned against the car frame. A faint, mocking smile touched her lips. Director Su, I think you should explain this situation to me first. The chairman of Lehigh Group, Chu Man, stepped forward with a stern face. This was the perfect chance to crush Su Jiangguo's morale, seeing that the organizers were holding him accountable.
Su Yuji
Gave a satisfied stretch. It seems father doesn't have any time to worry about me anymore. So, I'll take my leave now. The moment she opened the car door, her gaze caught a figure moving on the second floor. She looked up. A few strands of hair fell before her eyes. Up on the quiet second-floor balcony, reflected in those melting amber pupils, she suddenly smirked, silently mouthing the words, "Got you." Immediately after, she sat inside the car. After starting the engine, she pulled adrift, knocking over the hall's carved wooden doors, and sped away, crashing the party and then leaving just like that. That's exactly Su Yuji's style. Hearing the engine noise fade, I finally stepped out from behind the Roman pillar. After finishing his filming, Ye Jinghuai rushed up. He was transferring the video from his camera to his phone. This is definitely the best drama of the year. Got the hot news for this issue right here. When it comes to crashing parties, Su Yuji is the master.
That's why they didn't let her attend the last Su family banquet.
With her around, no party can ever be peaceful. Ye Jinghuai nudged my elbow.
Su Yuji.
Did she come to vent her anger on your behalf this time? I twitched my lips slightly, but I truly couldn't find it in me to smile. I bent down to pick up a photo from the floor, looking at the detailed timestamps from the surveillance camera. Is Su Wanning back too? Yay! Jinghuai raised an eyebrow. He glanced down at the first floor. Then why didn't she show her face? If Su Wanning had appeared, you wouldn't have been able to watch such a fun show tonight. Due to Su Yuji's marauding entrance, the party was forced to end at 9:30. Yay! Jinghuai put his arm around my shoulder. Xingyuan, let's go get a late night snack. I can't go. I'm tired.
I want to go home and sleep.
Yi Jinghuai looked dissatisfied.
How could you be tired?
It's not like I made you drive, and you weren't the one crashing the party. Seeing my best friend's pouting expression, I found it quite funny. I glanced at Lin Lan standing nearby. My family is waiting.
Let Lin Lan go with you.
Yay! Jinghuai turned around and put his arm around Lin Lan's shoulder.
All right. All right.
You're a busy man. The two of us are going for a drink. I'll have the driver take you home. I smiled and waved him off. I waited until their shadows faded into the distance. The casual smile on my face gradually vanished. Unlike the coldness of the banquet, the atmosphere at home was incredibly warm. After dinner, the whole family was still gathered, chatting happily. When I arrived home, they were having a lively discussion about Li Xiaoying's part-time job. Seeing me return, Li Xiaoying smiled and explained the situation. The current topic is, Xingyuan, you're back. My friend's older sister works for a film company. These days, short films adapted from novels are really popular. She says my looks are pretty good. And if I want a part-time job, she can introduce me to her sister to work as a short film actress. Mother thinks it sounds a bit untrustworthy. The industry is currently a real mixed bag. There are countless money scams out there. The moment you start, they demand thousands of yuan upfront, claiming it's for training classes and whatnot. Then they promise to arrange work for you. But in the end, they just disappear. In truth, Li Shuiying herself wasn't sure if it was legitimate either, because nowadays, scams involving acquaintances are the most common. I'm just asking for everyone's opinion first. If everyone agrees, then I'll go for an interview. If they really try to make me pay for training fees, then I'll just turn around and leave immediately. I spoke up in support. I think it's a good idea. You should give it a try, sis. Who knows, you might find acting really interesting. Or maybe you'll discover a hidden talent. It would also give you another option when you apply for university. Li Xiaoying nodded. Then let's go with Xingyuan's suggestion. Tomorrow is Sunday. Xingyuan, do you want to come with me? I thought about it for a moment. I'd just be idling at home anyway, so I might as well go out for a bit. Then let's go tomorrow after lunch. Li Xiaoying affectionately patted my head. All right. Ever since I got the new bed, my sleep quality has significantly improved. I slept straight through until 9 a.m. As soon as I opened my eyes, I habitually checked my phone for new messages. No schedule today. Would the young master do me the honor of going out for a meal? I let out a yawn, then replied, I have to go with Li Xiaoying today. Let's make it tomorrow. Just seconds after sending the message, Ji Zaran called me immediately. I answered the phone while still lazily lying in bed.
What is it?
Nothing. I just wanted to hear your voice when you've just woken up. I instantly became wide awake. I scolded her playfully. Are you crazy? Ji Zaran hummed nonchalantly. Sooner or later, I'll be the one waking up next to you, so why not hear it now? Well, we've only been apart for a few days, but this girl is getting better and better at flirting. The tips of my ears turned bright red. She knowingly changed the subject. You went to the banquet last night too, didn't you? I did. With Su Yuji's obsession with cars over her own life, to dare drive her most beloved supercar straight into the banquet hall. That gift must have cost quite a bit of thought and money. Ji Zaran smirked slightly. Guess whether that gift was prepared for Su Jingchen. Or for you. I was momentarily stunned. Forget it. I can't accept that. Haha. The surprise the second Su Miss worked so hard on. It seems the young master isn't very satisfied with it. I curled my lips slightly. My tone revealed unconcealed disgust. She's a total lunatic. Both of them are crazy.
Just let them be crazy.
Not a single normal person can be found in the Su family line.
Let's have lunch together tomorrow afternoon.
I've been facing a problem lately that I can't seem to figure out. So I want to talk to you. Is that okay? All right, I'll pick you up then. Remember to stay safe. Call me anytime if something happens. After hanging up, I plugged my phone into the charger, then went into the bathroom to get ready. Just as I opened my bedroom door, I saw Li Shuiying stepping out of her room as well. I greeted her with a smile.
Good morning, sis.
Li Xiaoying couldn't help but pat my head again.
Good morning, dear brother.
What do you want for breakfast? Steamed buns.
Soy milk and hot fried dough. Or should I cook a bowl of egg noodles for you? Feeling the gentle ruffling of my hair, I didn't feel any aversion at all. I headed into the bathroom. I bet Mother has already prepared breakfast. Hearing that, Li Shuiying went to the kitchen to check. Indeed, Mother had left a large plate of fried noodles, with my toothbrush still in my mouth. My speech was a bit mumbled. Is everyone else still asleep? Li Xiaoying also entered the bathroom and started brushing her teeth.
Yeah, it's the weekend.
Let them sleep in a bit. There is nothing else to do this morning anyway. After finishing breakfast, everyone went to their rooms to do homework. The curriculum at Thin Hoa is much heavier than normal high schools. The massive amount of homework was giving me a headache, right in the middle of a sentence. The phone ringing interrupted my train of thought. I glanced at the caller ID on the screen. My gaze instantly darkened. I immediately hung up. It rang again, and I hung up again. The more they called, the more determined I was to hang up. But the caller wouldn't give up, calling incessantly. The phone's ringing was so loud that even Li Chuying in the next room had to come over to ask.
What happened?
I waved my hand at her. Then I frustratedly answered the call. Su Wanning. Just what exactly do you want to do? A luxurious yet discreet Mercedes stopped in front of the neighborhood gate. The woman in the back seat crossed her long legs. Finally, hearing my voice over the phone, Su Wanning looked out the car window, seeing a woman carrying groceries walking past. Your biological mother is truly a beauty. I'm right at the entrance of your neighborhood. Come down here and talk to me. Or should I invite this lady into the car for a chat? Su Wanning's voice was as calm as water, but it made my heart tighten. Wait, right there. I hung up, grabbing the keys. I dashed outside. Less than 2 minutes later, I had finished changing my shoes and ran downstairs and happened to run into my mother. I breathed a sigh of relief. I slowed my pace, offering my usual smile.
Mom! You're back so soon!
All the cleaning at the shop is finished. My mother was very happy. She took my hand and said excitedly, while I was cleaning, a few girls stopped by to ask what kind of shop it was. They complimented me on how well I've maintained my looks. We've all added each other on WeChat. They said they'd come support me when we open. I patted the back of my mother's hand as a sign of encouragement. Of course, you're the living billboard for the shop after all. Go upstairs and rest for a bit, Mom. A friend is looking for me. I'm heading out for a while. My mother beamed and said, all right, I'll go upstairs and start the rice first. Remember to come home early? I bought that shredded chicken dish you like for lunch. With that, she went upstairs. Inside the Mercedes, Su Wanning stood behind the car window. From afar, she witnessed all our intimate interactions. Seeing me stride toward her, she slowly withdrew her gaze. Looking straight ahead, she told the driver to drive off. The driver was stunned for a moment. Didn't you say we were here to find the young master? They haven't even met yet. And yet we're already leaving. Su Wanning's cold eyes in the rearview mirror met the driver's gaze. The driver shivered in fear. He immediately started the engine and floored it. I reached the gate just in time to see the Mercedes zoom right past me. I frowned. Pulling out my phone, I called Su Wanning back. Didn't you want to talk to me? I'm down here now. Yet you just drove away. Are you playing with me? But Su Wanning remained completely composed, speaking with full reason. Suddenly, I don't feel like talking anymore. Let's have dinner tomorrow night. I'll come pick you up. Then she directly hung up. Hearing the dial tone on the phone, I was left completely speechless. Those people from the Su family, as expected, not a single one of them is normal. The glass door of the pet shop was suddenly pushed open. The wind chimes rattled violently. The employee's greeting got stuck in his throat, the woman standing at the door, though a smile played on her lips. Her gaze sent a chill down his spine. Su Yuji leisurely shook the droplets off her umbrella. Her eyes swept over the dogs in the cages. Her gaze settled on a corner of the room, spotting the brown and white border collie in the cage. The corners of her mouth curled up in amusement. That's the border collie. It's just as smart as him. Su Yuji took the border collie puppy from the employee. My little brother will surely be delighted to receive this gift. The roar of a sports car engine tore through the air, disrupting the peaceful silence of the neighborhood and interrupting my math problem solving. My heart raced. I had a vague sense of foreboding. I put down my pen. I went to the window to look down, seeing a scratched up Apollo Intensa Emozione speeding straight into the complex. My eyes narrowed slightly, hinting at a touch of danger. I quickly left the room. I went to knock on my sister's door. Li Chuying opened the door. Seeing my heavy expression, she asked me what had happened.
Su Yuji is here.
As I spoke, my gaze moved past Li Chuying to my younger sister obediently doing homework at her desk. Yu Yan, no matter what noises you hear later, you must stay in your room and absolutely do not come out.
Understand.
Seeing me act as if facing a great enemy, Li Chuying's heart sank. Listen to your older brother. Stay here and be good.
Okay.
Li Yuyan nodded, sensing that danger was about to strike from outside. Just as I finished warning her, a pounding came from the door, along with Su Yuji's flirtatious yet dangerous voice. Little brother, is this game of hide-and-seek fun? I'll give you 10 seconds, and if you don't open the door, Nuna will break it down. I strode over and threw the wooden door open. Li Chuying shut her room door tight and followed me out, separated by the iron gate. Su Yuji stared at me with a wicked smile. Hiding, having fun, being found this easily. You haven't improved at all over the past year. I smirked. Our eyes met as if sparks were flying. The Su family's second miss sure is leisurely. Isn't the brother at home enough for you to torment? That you'd go through the trouble of coming all this way from me? There wasn't a shred of sincerity in Su Yuji's words.
Don't be so tense.
Your Nuna truly cares about you. It's been over a year since we met. I even prepared a special gift for you. I looked at her coldly. Either shut your mouth right now, or get lost immediately. Su Yuji suddenly gripped the iron gate, making a piercing sound, daring to run away without a word. You've certainly grown some guts. Su Yuji laughed wildly, but soon suppressed her manic emotions, letting go of the iron bars. Open up. I brought a gift for you. Suspiciously, I looked at Su Yuje and pushed the iron gate open. The next second, I saw a small dog sitting obediently by her feet. A border collie puppy tilting its head. My gaze darkened, looking straight into her eyes. You sure know how to pick a gift? I hate dogs the most. Our auras clashed fiercely, sharp as unsheathed swords. Li Chiang's presence was as graceful as a gentle breeze. She wasn't at all intimidated by this terrifying atmosphere. Speaking calmly, "Don't just stand at the door. You'll block the neighbors coming up and down the stairs." Those words were meant to remind me not to let Su Yuje frighten the neighbors later. Su Yuje finally seemed to notice Li Chuying's presence, casting a look of contempt her way. A lowly girl from a bankrupt family. Is there a place for you to speak here? Li Chuying remained as unbothered as drifting clouds. A faint smile still graced her lips. Xing Yuan is my younger brother. This is my home. You are not worthy of being his sister, I retorted without any hesitation. Shez, not worthy. As if you are worthy of me. The Su sister didn't get angry at all. She led the dog and pushed me aside, entering the house uninvited.
How very cold.
After all, we were together for 17 years. I just wanted to spit in her face.
What exactly did you come here for?
Su Yuje nonchalantly sat down on the sofa, looking around the place. What else could it be? My little brother ran away from home. Of course, Nuna had to come pick you up herself. This wretched little corner isn't even as good as the Su family's bathroom. As if I had just heard a joke. I gave a cold snort. Go. Stay in that bathroom of yours then. Our Li family can't accommodate a great Buddha like you. Please leave. Su Yuji appeared indifferent. If you don't come with me tonight, then the next person coming for you will be Su Wanning. You should know by now, she isn't as easygoing as I am. In reality, Su Wanning had already come, and she had just finished leading me around by the nose. I smiled back at her. At least she understands human speech. While you don't have a shred of humanity, clearly calling Su Yuje a beast. Su Yuji laughed as if it were nothing. My little brother's mouth is truly poisonous. It would probably be great for making medicinal wine. She narrowed her eyes at the border collie sitting nearby, anticipating an interesting reaction from me. I looked down at the dog with its soft, clean fur. Wagging its tail at me, the border collie was acting cute. My expression hardened. A dark, unpredictable glint of ferocity appeared in my eyes. I bent down and grabbed the collar of the small dog, lifting it right up. My other hand grabbed Su Yuji's collar,
hauling her to her feet,
and threw both the person and the dog out the door. Su Yuji was pushed so hard she stumbled. Interest welled up in her eyes. A joyful smile. Seemingly very satisfied with my resistance, being that heartless. I went through all that trouble to pick you up, without even getting a single sip of water. You've already kicked your Nuna out the door. I raised an eyebrow, my eyes filled with disgust. Are you even worthy? I didn't bother paying her any more attention. Su Yuji, an idle person with nothing better to do than cause trouble. When I turned to look at Li Chuiying, my cold expression instantly softened. Nuna, go inside and change your clothes first. I can handle things here. Hearing that natural and intimate way I called her sister, Su Yuji's indifferent gaze suddenly turned icy. Li Chuiying noticed it. She gently patted my head, still looking at Su Yuje uneasily. Call me if anything happens, okay? Watching Li Chuiying walk into the hallway toward her room, my smile vanished. Leaning against the doorframe, lazily looking at Su Yuje.
You haven't gotten lost yet.
Su Yuji grit her teeth.
Why are you calling her sister?
Su Yuji suddenly squeezed my face hard. Her gaze was terrifyingly dark. The way she looks at you is truly sickening. Tell me, what if Nuna gouged her eyes out? I laughed, but the smile didn't reach my eyes, seemingly mocking Su Yuji's uselessness. I firmly grabbed Su Yuji's wrist with one hand, silently applying pressure. Then, in the next game of hide-and-seek,
You will never ever find me again.
Su Yuji let go. She looked at me with full admiration. It'll give you two choices. Come with me, or it'll level this place, and then take you away. I tilted my head. Tilting my head, I flashed a bright smile. I choose the third option. Just as I finished speaking, I delivered a kick that sent Su Yuji down the stairs. Immediately after, I grabbed the leash and swung the dog. The little dog flew through the air for a bit, and landed right in Su Yuji's arms. It whimpered piteously. I smiled with satisfaction and closed the door. Su Yuji rubbed her aching leg. This long-lost feeling of pain made her very excited. Only I could bring her this kind of joy. I leaned against the windowsill until I saw the limited edition car with a dented front. The Apollo IE sped out of the complex gates. Only then did I withdraw my gaze. Li Chuiying had finished changing and came out, seeing me standing by the window, looking a bit melancholy. After a moment, she asked a question.
Is your relationship with the Su family's second miss really that good?
I was stunned for a moment, with a smile that was both sorrowful
And mocking.
Nuna. The Li family only went bankrupt 2 years ago. Haven't you heard the stories about me and the two Su sisters before?
Li Chuying pursed her lips.
Rumors aren't necessarily the truth. I can see that she still cares about you in her heart. Every single time, I almost lost my life at Su Yuji's hands. Who would dare acknowledge a second sister like that? I gave a faint, mocking smile. Not a ripple of emotion in my eyes. The Su family is a hell, and I'm the one who escaped from it. Of course, I will never go with them. Li Chuiying patted my head. It's time for us to go. I changed into another outfit and went with Li Chuiying to the short film audition. Sitting on the bus, I observed the girl beside me. Nuna, how long has it been since you bought new clothes? I really don't understand. All of Su Jingchen's clothes and shoes are expensive. So why is it that you, Li Chuiying, can't bear to buy a few new pairs for yourself? Even though we're one family, the spending levels are so vastly different. Is it really worth it to spoil a brother this much? Li Chuiying gave an awkward forced smile. I don't really care much about dressing up, so most of the money I earn from my part-time job has mostly been used to buy things for Su Jingchen. I haven't saved much for myself. I pursed my lips and sighed inwardly. Nuna, clothes make the man, just as fertilizer makes the rice grow. 3 parts are looks, 7 parts are from the attire. How can you go out without a decent outfit? Let's go buy a new outfit first when we get there, and then change into it. For an audition at a big company, you should at least dress neatly. Li Chuiying smiled gently. Feeling very warm inside, she said. All right, help me pick one later. Okay. The bus passed 5 stops. Then we transferred to the subway. It took half an hour to reach our destination. First, we found a branded fashion store to buy a presentable outfit for Li Chuiying to change into. As it turned out, we hadn't even picked a set yet after entering, when a mocking voice rang out from the entrance. Isn't this young Master Su? You used to wear high-end tailored clothes worth tens of thousands. Now you're wearing these rags worth a few hundred. I almost didn't recognize you. I turned around, and upon seeing clearly who had just arrived, a smile played on my thin lips. No wonder young Master Huo can only identify people by their clothes now. It seems those eyes of yours are quite severely ill. You'd better go to the hospital for a checkup soon, before the condition worsens and ruins your brain as well. Huo, Shenyun's face turned red with rage. Li Hangyuan, you're no longer the Su family's young master, so what do you have to be so arrogant about? I sneered, the corners of my mouth curling. Since you know I've left the Su family, then you should also know I no longer carry the Su name. Right? If you get the name wrong again next time, then the real young master of the Su family definitely won't let you off. I ignored Huo Shenyun's venomous glare, taking a modern Chinese-style white shirt off the rack. Handing it to Li Chuiying. Nuna, try this one on. This really suits your aura. Li Chuiying looked at Huo Shenyun warily. I winked at her, signaling that there was nothing to worry about. She then took the outfit and walked into the fitting room. Huo Shenyun glared at me intensely. You're a bankrupt loser, reeking of poverty. Everything at Elsa's costs several hundred yuan. Can you even afford it? Don't just try things on for fun, and then not buy them if you get their clothes dirty. What will you use to pay them back? I calmly continued picking out clothes. Whether I have money or not is none of your business. Stop standing here and being an eyesore. Li Hangyuan,
You just wait and see.
daring to offend me,
You're finished.
tossing out a threat. Huo Shenyun turned and left.
Li Chuiying
Had finished changing and stepped out of the fitting room. I looked over. The embroidered pattern of green bamboo and white cranes greatly enhanced her elegant and ethereal aura. I smiled with satisfaction. As expected, it suits you perfectly. Li Chuiying's expression was slightly unhappy. Just now in the fitting room, she had heard everything, and she had seen the price tags too. She had already checked them. This shirt alone is over 400 yuan. Plus the pants and shoes, this whole set must be at least 1,000 yuan. I stepped closer and lowered my voice. Nuna, you were the one who said we are family, so there's no need to be so strictly calculated. Just consider this a mid-autumn gift from me. Li Chuiying struggled internally for a moment. Then she broke into a radiant smile. All right, once I earn some money later.
Buy new clothes for you.
I pursed my lips and smiled. After changing into the new outfit, Li Chuiying's aura became even more refined. Afterwards, we went to the film company together. This film company wasn't very large in scale. After stating our purpose to the receptionist, Li Chuiying followed the instructions inside for the audition. I sat waiting outside. I stared at the company name for a while. My eyes instinctively narrowed slightly.
Yunchuan Film.
Why does that name sound so familiar? The receptionist led me to the lounge area and brought me a glass of water. Little brother, please wait here for a moment. We've been busy preparing for a period short film lately. Great importance is being placed on the casting. More than 10 people have come for auditions today. Your sister probably won't be out right away. I softly said my thanks. A period short film. Wouldn't that perfectly suit Nuna's outfit today? Combined with her looks and that aura of hers. Who knows, she might even snag a supporting role on her first try. After waiting for nearly half an hour, I suddenly heard a familiar voice.
Why is it you again?
I put down the glass of water and turned my head to look. It was Huo Shenyun again. Huo Shenyun's eyes were full of mockery. What are you doing here? Don't tell me you've crawled here to audition too. The young master who was once sought after by so many, reduced to such a state that he has to work for money now. But I suggest you'd better get lost. Someone like you trying to audition is a guaranteed failure. I rested my chin on my hand, adopting a posture as if watching a fun show. Looking towards Huo Shenyun.
This company.
Is it yours?
Huo Shenyun raised his head proudly.
This is my aunt's company.
With just one word from me, Whether it's you or your sister, don't even dream of getting any role. I put on a pensive look, appearing dazed for a moment. Ah, so this company belongs to your aunt. Humph, now that you know, why haven't you disappeared from my sight? Or you could kneel down and beg me. Then I might reconsider and give you a role as charity.
Huo Shenyan.
Just as he finished speaking, a middle-aged woman stepped out of the office. He immediately beamed and ran toward her.
Auntie.
Jiang Xiaoyu looked at Huo Shenyan with doting eyes. My little ancestor.
You're here.
Why didn't you let me know? Huo Shenyan pointed his hand at me. Auntie, he bullied me. He and his sister crawled here to audition. You absolutely must not let this arrogant, overbearing person into the cast, or hell ruin the atmosphere for everyone. Hearing that someone had bullied her nephew, Jiang Xiaoyu immediately looked over here in anger. But when she met those peach blossom eyes, she suddenly froze. President Yuan, why are you here? That highly respectful form of address caused Huo Shenyan's eyes to bulge. Jiang Xiaoyu brushed Huo Shenyan aside and strode quickly toward me. President Yuan, you usually never show your face. Coming here in person today, you must have some business with me. I nonchalantly took a sip of water. It's nothing major. I'm just here with my sister for her audition. You hold a staggering 50% of this company's shares. It's just a matter of bringing a few people in. Isn't that as easy as flipping a hand? Why bother going through all these tedious procedures? My gaze, heavy with hidden meaning, lingered on Huo Shenyan. There are simply too many properties and assets. Fortunately, thanks to young Master Huo's reminder. Otherwise, I would have forgotten I even held shares in Yunchuan. Since I was young, I learned so much by following Su Yaning and Ji Zaran. Most of the monthly allowance I received, I funneled into investments.
Money breeds money.
And as time went by, I can't even keep track of which enterprises I've invested in anymore. When signing contracts, I use my full legal name, but I truly despise it when others address me by my surname. Everything I possess was earned through my own relentless blood and sweat. I certainly have no intention of letting the Su family take credit for my glory. That's why all the owners of the companies I share a stake in simply call me Boss Yuan or Young Master Xing Yuan. Which role is Boss Yuan's sister playing? Let me tell them to finalize the decision immediately. I stared intensely at Huo Shenyan, speaking a single sentence, laden with hidden meaning. There is no need for that. My sister values the things she achieves with her own hands. Rather than leaning on the influence of others, Jiang Xiaoyu also picked up on the sharp implication. She shot a look at her nephew Shenyan beside her. Is there some kind of misunderstanding between you and Boss Yuan? Apologize to Boss Yuan right this instant. There is no need for an apology, and there's no misunderstanding either. He simply finds me to be an unbearable eyesore. The friction between us is a personal matter. The business partnership between President Jiang and me is strictly official. The two should never be conflated. If he were to bow and apologize today just because of your words, it would seem as though I'm abusing my power to bully others, using a professional position to settle a personal score. Jiang Xiaoyu let out a long sigh of relief. She quickly chimed in. Boss Yuan, you're absolutely correct. Only Boss Yuan truly understands the bigger picture. This nephew of mine has been far too spoiled. From now on, I will strictly discipline his rebellious temperament. Huo Shenyan gritted his teeth in silent fury, but though he was seething, he didn't dare utter a word. The meeting room door swung open. Over a dozen actors from the audition filed out. Among them was Li Chuying. I instantly retracted my intimidating aura. I stood up to welcome my sister. How did it go, Nuna? It went quite well, but since I still have to attend school, I was only cast as the third supporting female with very little screen time.
That's already incredible.
Nuna. Li Chiying's smile was serene and radiating warmth. It's all thanks to this outfit you gave me. Once the contract was signed, the two of us didn't linger. I bid farewell to Jiang Xiaoyu and departed. I pulled Li Chuying along to go shopping, intending to buy a few more sets of new clothes for everyone back home. Watching us walk away, Huo Shenyan's rage finally found a target for release. Auntie, since when did Li Xingyuan become a shareholder? How is it that I didn't know a single thing about this? Back when Yunchuan Film and TV was first founded, he had already injected capital. Or more accurately, without his investment, Yunchuan could never have come into existence. Surely Su Yuaning was the one scheming for him in the past. Now he's just a penniless nobody. Sooner or later, he'll squander all his assets. Living off one's legacy without effort will empty even a mountain of gold. Jiang Xiaoyu shot a sideways glance at her nephew, a mix of frustration and pity. Your mind is truly clouded with ignorance. I've heard the businesses has invested in number in the dozens, and every single one of them is highly profitable. How could that possibly be described as sitting idle? Moreover, his personal network is extraordinarily vast. He has close, powerful acquaintances in every single industry. I'm warning you, do not try to cross him. Otherwise, I truly don't know if your father's business will survive the fallout. Huo Shenyan froze in shock. He had assumed I relied solely on the Su family name to be respected and sought after. Little did he know I possessed such formidable power of my own. It turns out that being revered and supported by everyone is only natural. On our side, Li Chuying and I spent the entire afternoon shopping. I bought 2 brand new outfits for everyone in the family. Consider it a gift for the Mid-Autumn Festival. Seeing me drop nearly 10,000 yuan in one go, Li Chiying felt even more overwhelmed with embarrassment. Xing Yuan? You're buying such incredibly expensive clothes. Spending so much money. Mom and dad will surely feel terribly awkward about it. 3 or 400 yuan per set isn't considered expensive. Nuna, the quality is superior, and they will last much longer. It's better than wasting hundreds of yuan on 7 or 8 cheap sets that will fall apart after a few wears. I spent several thousand yuan buying clothes for the Li family, not because I had truly accepted them or wanted to perform an act of charity. It was purely and simply to provoke Su Yuji. Su Yuji almost lost her mind when she received the news. What did you just say? Li Xingyuan not only took Li Chuing shopping at Elsa, but also strolled through the streets with her. He bought brand new clothes for every single member of that Li family, and not just one set for each. Lu Zhao reported with a deep bow. Yes, miss. However, the clothes he purchased were not remarkably expensive. The total cost was merely over 8,000 yuan. Su Yuji's eyes seemed to flash with a dangerous fire. What on earth do you know? I was his sister for 17 long years. He never once gifted me so much as a single outfit. And yet, as soon as he arrives,
Eat that lie house.
he's already taking that fake sister has known for only 7 days shopping. I won't allow this. I must find him and demand an explanation right now. Su Yuji snatched her phone and car keys. Lu Xiao sidestepped, blocking Su Yuji's path. He bowed his head slightly. Second Miss Su.
What would be the use of going to see him now?
It was your very own orders that drove the Li family to bankruptcy. The young master is undoubtedly still resentful toward you. There is still a deep bitterness in his heart against you. Su Yuji's footsteps came to an abrupt halt. A flash of regret flickered momentarily in her eyes. Back then, it's true I intentionally ruined the Li family. My only goal was to prevent him from ever leaving the Su family. Who could have guessed that even knowing the Li family was destitute, he could still walk away with such cold decisiveness. 17 years of sibling bonds, and he really showed me no mercy whatsoever. Elsewhere, I had already arranged to have lunch with Jizaran on Sunday. Everything had been perfectly settled. While Xu Qingru hadn't yet returned to Haishi, we planned to invite her for a little gathering. But I never in a million years expected that Xu Qingru, saying shed pick me up, would show up right at my doorstep like this. At that moment, Li Chuiying went to open the door. Through the iron gate, she and the blonde-haired girl outside stared at each other in shock. Li Chuiying was dazed for a long time.
Are you
the famous designer Xu Qingru?
That's right.
And you are Xingyuan's sister.
Li Chuiying, aren't you?
Her mind suddenly went completely blank. She opened the door as if in a trance, inviting the visitor inside the house.
Wait, something's not right.
Something is very wrong. The internationally renowned genius interior designer, Xu Qingru. Why on earth would she appear in a place like this? Please have a seat and rest for a moment. Li Chuiying went into the kitchen to get a clean glass. She was about to pour plain water, but after a thought, she took orange juice out of the fridge instead. Xu Qingru ruffled her short blonde hair, flattened by her helmet, and strode with long legs, reaching the living room in just a few steps. She scanned the surroundings once. She couldn't help but furrow her brow. Hearing the commotion outside, I finished changing and stepped out. You're here early. Xu Qingru let out a soft, reproachful sigh. I'm here to pick you up. You didn't think I'd actually make you wait for me, did you? Xingyuan. Li Chuiying called out to me softly. When I looked her way, her eyes were pleading for an explanation of what on earth was happening. I suddenly realized I needed to introduce them.
This is my friend, Xu Qingru.
She works in interior design. I'm having lunch with her this afternoon. I gave her a gentle nudge with my elbow. Xu Qingru. And this is my sister, Li Chuiying. The two young women shared a glance. They nodded slightly. Consider that the formal greeting done. The atmosphere was thick with a touch of awkwardness. I stood up and smiled to bid Li Chuiying goodbye. Nuna, we're heading out now. All right, she said, seeing us to the door. Li Chuiying remained in a daze from beginning to end. Not until the door had firmly shut did she pull out her phone and think for a moment. Then, she quickly fired off a WeChat message to her brother. Brother, your idol was just here at our house. The reply from the other side was almost instantaneous, consisting only of 3 question marks. Xu Qingru is actually Xingyuan's friend, and it looks like they're very close too. This time, 3 exclamation marks came back. Leaving the Li family home, we headed down to the garden below. Xu Qingru really couldn't hold it in any longer.
Oh, great young master.
You don't just have an obscene amount of money.
It seems you're also genuinely sick in the head. You refuse to live in a luxury villa. Why on earth did you come to a place like this to suffer? Do you really not need to go to a hospital to have your brain scanned? Staying in my bathroom would be a luxury compared to this place. Listening to Xu Qingru's incessant grumbling, I couldn't help but burst into laughter. Don't you worry? I won't be staying here for long. I never had any intention of staying with the Li family permanently. Once I graduate from high school, I'll use work as a pretext to move out on my own. Staying here temporarily is only because I haven't yet finished dealing with those 2 rabid dogs from the Su family. Registering my household under the Li family means I have a legitimate legal guardian. If Su Yaning and Su Yujie try to take me away by force, they'd have to act as if the law doesn't exist at all. Hearing that, Xu Qingru let out a long, slow breath of relief.
Thank goodness.
It seems my great young master's brain hasn't been kicked by a mule after all. I shot her a look heavy with meaning. When we reached the Yandu Hotel, it was perfectly timed for the meal. I took off my helmet. Has Jizawaran arrived yet? Xu Qingru ruffled her short hair. She carelessly hung the helmet on the front of her bike. Who knows? I have no idea how long her meeting went on for. Ji-Zaran was supposed to be the one picking me up. If she hadn't been caught in an unexpected video conference, she never would have entrusted the task of picking up her childhood friend to someone else. Then let's just head inside and order first. Ji-Zaran arrived a little while later, but by the time all the dishes were served, she happened to appear right on time. As she walked past behind Zhu Qingru, she gave her a light pat on the shoulder.
Long time no see.
Then she went straight to the empty seat beside me and sat down. Great young master. Yesterday, when you went with your sister to that short film audition, anything exciting happen? By that I mean, did you stumble upon any new business opportunities? I chuckled softly. It was actually quite interesting. Only when I arrived did I realize it was a company ID already invested in. So much so that I couldn't even recall when ID injected the capital. I don't even remember why I decided to invest in Yunchuan back then. I only vaguely recall that Jiang Xiaoyu is my business partner. Half of Jiang Xiaoyu's company essentially belongs to me. Xu Qingru feigned a look of disdain, pouting her lips. You have so many properties that you can't even remember them yourself. You truly are a figure of immense stature.
Everyone's here now, so let's dig in.
During the meal, Xu Qingru vented frantically to Ji-Zaran about Su Jingchen's ridiculous antics over the past few days. And also the scene at the Li family house today. She wanted Ji-Zaran to talk some sense into me. Why someone perfectly fine, with a body of gold and jade, would stoop so low as to deal with people like those in the Li family. After all, the great young master has never been one for so-called family sentiments. I shot her a razor-sharp glare, causing Xu Qingru to shut up instantly, not daring to tattle any further. I took the initiative to change the subject. I've been ruminating on something for the past few days. No matter how much I think, I can't figure it out. Well, let's hear it. Truth is, as of 2 years ago, I already knew I wasn't the Su family's biological child. So when Su Jingchen showed up at the Su mansion, I didn't sense anything out of the ordinary. But thinking back carefully over these past few days, Su Jianguo and Bai Yuzhen never cared about me before. Not even a little. Is it possible they suddenly developed a sudden whim to see if I was truly their biological offspring? Besides, the Li family has been bankrupt for a very long time. Su Jingchen should have had zero chance to even approach Su Jianguo or Bai Yuzhen. So how on earth did he find out he was a biological Su? And where in the world did those DNA test results come from? Ji-Zaran, after listening, also felt that something was suspicious. If we look at it closely,
Eat the time you were born.
the Su family was already at the pinnacle of Jingqing's high society. They have their own private hospitals, with dedicated exclusive VIP rooms. How could there possibly have been a mix-up with the Li family? This reeks of a deliberate arrangement by someone in the shadows. Xu Qingru recalled the encounter with Su Jingchen that day. She also nodded in agreement. Actually, now that you mention it, Su Jingchen really doesn't resemble Su Jianguo or Bai Yuzhen at all. Su Jianguo is certainly no fool. When Su Jingchen showed up with those DNA results, he would have undoubtedly ordered a second test to be performed. If Su Jingchen truly is his son, then where did that first test result in his hand originate? And if Su Jingchen is not actually his son, then who was behind the scenes during Su Jianguo's arranged test, manipulating the results and swapping out the testing samples? I couldn't care less whose child I supposedly am. And I care even less whether Su Jingchen is the Su family's real young master. It's just that, if there truly is someone pulling the strings from the shadows, then I've unwittingly become a pawn in someone else's game. Moreover, their ultimate objective remains entirely shrouded in mystery. It's impossible to tell if they're targeting the Su family, or if they're aiming for the Li family. I absolutely loathe the feeling of being schemed against like this. Ji-Zaran poured me a glass of orange juice. I'll have someone look into this discreetly. You should also find a chance to probe Su Jingchen's attitude.
Yeah.
Thank you for your help. Ji-Zaran narrowed her eyes slightly. With a trace of displeasure, she reproached me. Is the great young master being this formal with me now? I suppose after over a decade of knowing each other, you've simply grown bored. The affection has clearly faded. You're treating me more and more like a total stranger. I shot her a playful glare. Miss Ji, could you possibly tone down the melodrama just a bit? I can't even keep up with you. Ji-Zaran continued to act out a heart-wrenching scene of despair, causing the corners of my eyes to crinkle with irrepressible laughter. See, you've definitely changed. Once upon a time, you called me Nuna Zaran. Then you switched to just using my name. And now it's escalated to Miss Ji. I playfully swatted the back of her hand. Stop messing around. Xu Qingru stood frozen, utterly speechless. She furrowed her brow, feeling as though she were standing there like a blindingly bright third wheel. Should I just disappear and stay out of your sight? I suppressed an embarrassed smile and returned to the main topic. The 3 million yuan the Su family gave me. I've already invested in the marine biology company under the Lehigh Group. Their research institute is equipped with state-of-the-art DNA testing facilities.
I'll see if I can find an opportunity
to obtain samples from Su Jingchen and Su Jianguo. Then, well, perform the DNA comparison all over again. Sigh. Just focus on studying properly so you can get your diploma first. Now that you've left the Su family, once you graduate, you won't have to worry about being shipped off abroad. But even if you apply for early graduation from a domestic university, it'll still take at least 2 years. Im single-handedly carrying all the weight of the company. Im's so busy, Im practically seeing stars. If you don't finish your studies soon, how are you going to come back and give me a hand? I pouted. Well, those with great ability simply have to do more. Ji Zaran laughed in sheer helplessness.
Do more.
I'm not exactly a workhorse for the production team, you know? Are you planning to just wash your hands of everything after investing? Do you think I'm just some toy ride outside a supermarket? I hummed a non-committal response just to get past it, clearly knowing the fault but absolutely refusing to fix it. Monday, at Shenghua High School as class began, the teacher entered the classroom with a lesson plan in hand. Su Jingchen turned his head to steal a glance.
My seat
Remained completely empty. He couldn't help but let his lips curl into a smirk. A flicker of malice flashed in his eyes. He raised his hand. His eyebrows were knit together in a display of concern. His voice carried a hint of false anxiety. Sir, the lesson has already started, but Jingyuan hasn't returned yet. Could something urgent have happened that made him skip class? Sir? Hearing Su Jingchen's sycophantic words, Ye Jinghua immediately rolled his eyes in sheer disdain. Sir, Jingyuan is busy discussing a partnership today. If it's for professional reasons, teacher nodded understandingly. Then he flipped open the lesson plan. Today, we shall be discussing sunk costs. Su Jingchen's face suddenly turned a deathly pale. What on earth kind of school is this? They just let students ditch class without any discipline. Shenghua is packed with the wealthy heirs of powerful, elite families, though most have not yet officially inherited their estates. Every single one of them has some form of business under their own name. Absences due to sudden meetings or business negotiations are things the teachers here are all too familiar with. The school's management of such matters is remarkably relaxed, because Shenghua was fundamentally created to cultivate successors. Ultimately, it's about honing the students' business acumen. Of course, they wouldn't restrict their real-world commercial practice. Skipping a class is simply that. Skipping a class. As long as they don't fail the course at the end of the term, then everything is perfectly fine. Naturally, a newcomer like Su Jingchen wouldn't understand this. He was convinced it was solely because of Ji Zhoren's influence that the teacher was going easy on me. By the time I returned to the school grounds, it was already the third period of the afternoon. This period was for equestrian studies. I headed to the locker room to change into my riding gear. Then I made my way to the training field to gather with my classmates. Ye Jingwei threw an arm over my shoulder. Teasingly, he said, well. Finally decided to show your face around here. Have you been out with Nunaji all morning? What exactly were you so busy with? I shot a quick glance towards Su Jingchen. Then, I spoke a sentence thick with hidden meaning, discussing some of life's most significant matters. We had gone to investigate records at the hospital where Su Jingchen and I were born, all the medical files from that day. Matters regarding lineage and one's true identity. Aren't those precisely the most significant matters of a person's life? Ye Jinghuai didn't fully grasp the depth of that statement. His face was a mask of sheer astonishment. Are you two dating now? Did she actually confess her feelings to you? Are you finally going to confirm the relationship? I laughed and gave him a playful shove. Heading to the stables, I led out my reddish-purple steed. Confess.
What on earth are you talking about?
The two of us should probably be called soulmates instead.
Soulmates. My foot.
Everyone knows you two have been head over heels for ages. I shot him a sharp look. You and Lin Lan are the ones who are a match made in heaven. Go find your own fiancé and leave me alone.
What do you mean, made in heaven?
The kind of person I like is someone more like your sister. What century is this? Still playing at childhood betrothals? Lin Lan and I are strictly like siblings. If we really ended up having to marry, I'd be so embarrassed looking at that face every day. I'd want to vanish. I was both speechless and immensely amused. You truly are someone who only cares about appearances. My sister has a very gentle disposition. If you two were actually in love, you'd undoubtedly end up finding her incredibly boring. Lin Lan is actually the perfect match for you. One heartless, one lungless. You're an absolutely flawless pair. Ye Jinghuai wasn't about to take that. He reached out to tickle my side. Who exactly are you calling heartless and lungless, huh? I'm sorry. I take it back. I scrambled backward to escape Ye Jinghuai's assault. Seeing Lin Lan in the distance, I yelled for help. Lin Lan, come quickly and manage your fiancé, Ye Jinghuai. His ears instantly turned a deep, fiery red. He stopped his teasing immediately. Li Xingyuan, don't you dare spout such nonsense. Lin Lan's ears were also flushed a bright crimson. She lowered her head, softly rubbing her nose. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream shattered the awkward atmosphere instantly. Everyone turned their gaze toward the sound. Su Jingchen was atop a horse, desperately yanking at the reins. He was being violently jerked around as the horse bolted erratically. He was so terrified that every drop of blood had drained from his face. His facial features were twisted into a mask of pure horror. The equestrian instructor was galloping frantically behind him, seeking any possible opening to save him. The instructor shouted at the top of his lungs while giving chase. desperately trying to guide Su Jingchen on how to regain control. Student Su, don't grip the reins so tightly. Try to relax your body. However, the only answer to the instructor was Su Jingchen's hysterical wailing. He was utterly incapable of relaxing. His palms were drenched in sweat from the extreme tension. His heart felt as if it were about to burst right out of his chest. Ye Jinghuai stood there, dumbfounded, helpless. He could only let out a long pout. We have 2 writing lessons every single week. How is it even possible for Su Jingchen to humiliate himself in every one of them? Lin Lan could only shake her head and let out a weary sigh. How on earth did that brain of his ever pass the entrance exam for Shenghua? Xing Yuan, aren't you gonna step in and help him out? If he gets thrown to the ground, hell probably dislocate his arm at the very least. I merely gave a nonchalant shrug of my shoulders. It has absolutely nothing to do with me, watching indifferently. Didn't the teacher already go to save him? What does it have to do with me? Just as the words left my mouth, I heard the teacher's voice echoing from afar. Li Xingyuan, come here and give me a hand. Ye Jinghuai and Lin Lan were gloating over his misfortune. I sighed and accepted my fate. I mounted the horse and chased after them. 5 minutes later, I had dragged Su Jingchen right in front of me, bringing him back to the safety of the sidelines. The teacher also found an opportunity to jump onto the horse that was out of control, subduing the wild horse that was running amok. Su Jingchen had fainted. He was taken away by the nanny. I gently stroked the horse I'd raised since childhood, as if praising it for doing a great job. Ye Jinghuai walked over and patted my shoulder. That must have been hard for you, being generous enough to save Su Jingchen. Yuan Oppa doesn't have a heart. He calls it being caught in the world. Unable to act according to one's will, I pretended to be annoyed and glanced at the 2 of them. Are you 2 taking turns calling me heartless? Ye Jinghuai gave a forced laugh. It was incredibly fake.
How could that be?
You're overthinking it.
Lin Lan spoke up leisurely. Who told you to rank first in last year's writing exam, and then show off your skills on the field too? Otherwise, they wouldn't have called your name for help today. Just thinking about that makes me annoyed. I pursed my lips. There was no other way. The competition was too strong. If I hadn't used a few tricks, then that #1 spot might not have belonged to me. Maybe I wouldn't even be studying here at Thin Hoa right now. Hearing that, Ye Jinghuai and Lin Lan stopped joking. Their expressions turned a bit more serious. There really is a formidable person in our grade. Chu Linger from class 3, my most formidable rival at school. Our grades aren't that far apart. Every exam, I only win by a narrow margin of 3 or 4 points.
Ye Jinghuai.
Thinking back to Chu Linger's smile, couldn't help but shudder. This Chu Linger looks pretty and delicate. She's very popular in our grade too, but I find her a bit sinister. Lin Lan nodded in agreement. I sank into deep thought. I've never directly faced off against Chu Linger. We only compete on the grade rankings. I've never looked into her family background either. I've never heard of her in the elite circles of Jing City. About any So family. But Lin Lan knew a bit of news. I heard she's not from Jing City. Her parents passed away early. She lives with her aunt. Her aunt belongs to the Hu City elite. What her name is exactly, I'm not sure. She doesn't mention it, and no one else can get anything out of her. Very mysterious. All I know is she's considered the daughter of a wealthy family. Ye Jinghuai was full of questions. Hu City? You mean High City? Traveling all the way from High City to Jing City for school. To do what? Lin Lan shrugged. Who knows? Elite high schools are rare. Our school has many students from other provinces too. Maybe she was sent here specifically for Thin Ho's educational reputation. No matter how strange this Chu Linger is, in the end it has nothing to do with me. I don't even know her at all. There is no way she's targeting me. I stopped worrying about it. I relaxed my brow. Stopped caring so much. School is almost out.
Let's ride a few rounds, then go change.
We got on our horses and strolled across the campus. It was truly carefree and leisurely. Practiced riding for a bit, then went to change, getting ready for the next class. What a coincidence. I finished changing. Just as I stepped out of the locker room, I ran right into the Chu Linger that Ye Jinghuai and Lin Lan just mentioned. Chu Linger had a bright smile on her lips, but there was no smile in her eyes. Student Su, I've admired your reputation for a long time. I slightly curled my lip. As if without any malice, my surname is Li, not Su. Student Su, are you here to change for riding class? Or are you standing here specifically waiting for me? There have been many rumors in our grade lately saying that student Li left the Su family for 3 million yuan. In my opinion, student Li is quick-witted and sharp, calculating and strategic. You shouldn't give up long-term glory for immediate gain. After speaking, she narrowed her eyes slightly at me, very quickly returning to normal. She smiled and said, if you also know it's a rumor, then why bother coming here to say this to me? Chu Linger's expression didn't change, but I noticed a spark of danger in her eyes. So what is the real reason you left the Su family? I answered calmly. If I said it was to find my own family, would you believe me?
I wouldn't.
Just as I thought.
You don't believe me either.
So why even ask? After speaking, I didn't want to waste more words on her. I stepped forward and brushed past her shoulder. Chu Linger's gaze froze, the smile on her face vanishing. An undisguised gloom appeared in the depths of her eyes. Once I returned to my seat in class, I opened my water bottle and took a sip, mentally replaying the conversation just now. Today was essentially the first time Chu Linger and I spoke directly. We've never had any interaction before. Im from the Beijing circle, while Chu Linger belongs to the Shanghai circle, nothing to do with each other. We've never met outside of school. So when exactly did I offend Chu Linger? Just because my grades kept her in second place for 2 years. Losing to me, it couldn't be just that. Thinking it over carefully, she just asked me why I left the Su family. She seemed very concerned about the reason for my departure. Someone from the Shanghai circle caring about high society rumors in Beijing. It's truly puzzling. Could she have a grudge against the Su family? But if she has a grudge against the Su family, then why come to me? If she wants to strike, then she should be going after the real young master, Su Jingchen. I can't figure it out. So I decided to stop thinking about it. What needs to be known will be known sooner or later. Yay! Jinghui plopped down on my desk. Old Yuan, want to come to my wine cellar for a drink tonight? My cellar has been open for so long, and yet I never see. You ever come to visit? Don't. Wait until it goes bankrupt before you finally drop by. Lin Lan rolled her eyes. You sure are confident in yourself, knowing for sure that the cellar will go bankrupt. Yay! Jinghui clicked his tongue and smacked Lin Lan's hand. Im talking to Wanning. Why are you interrupting? Before, you said you'd give me a new bottle of wine, but there's still no sign of it. I haven't even settled that score with you yet. Lin Lan leaned against the desk across from Ye Jinghui. I couldn't help it. The other party was caught for tax evasion. The order was suddenly canceled. It's not like I intentionally didn't give it to you. Wait until next time I find good wine. I'll make it up to you. How about that? That's more like it. Listening to them bicker, I suddenly remembered. Back in elementary school, when Yi Jinghui found out about the childhood engagement, he was so angry he went to pick a fight with Lin Lan. Lin Lan felt ashamed, crying her eyes out, locked herself in her room, and didn't go to school for a whole week. Finally, Ye Jinghui brought a backpack full of snacks to her house, bowed his head in apology, and after much coaxing, he finally got Lin Lan to stop crying. I lowered my head and stifled a laugh. This pair really is destined to be at odds. Ye Jinghui saw me laughing so happily, so he reached out and poked my shoulder. Hey Wanning, don't just stand there enjoying the show.
You still haven't answered me yet.
Are you going or not? I'll prepare some 1982 grape juice for you. Lin Lan teased with a laugh. Isn't 1982 grape juice just wine? Hez still a minor.
You dare let him touch alcohol.
Aren't you afraid Ji Zhaoran will destroy you? Everyone knows. I'm the one Ji Zhaoran holds dear in her heart. Anything that's even slightly disadvantageous to me, she has to clear away before she can feel at ease. If Ye Jinghui dares to drink with me, then Ye Jinghui will become the next nuisance for Ji Zhaoran to eliminate. I just said pure grape juice. Fresh pressed juice. Alright, fine, okay. You two don't need to argue anymore. I can't go tonight. Su Wanning invited me to dinner. Ye Jinghui immediately jumped off the desk.
What? What does the Su family's eldest lady want to interfere in now?
Lin Lan patted my shoulder with a steady gaze, with a tragic expression like she was sending me to the battlefield. Wanning, my family has a soft gold armor vest. I'll tell someone to sneak it out for you right now.
Good luck tonight. Don't blame me if anything happens.
Ye Jinghui and Lin Lan were acting like they'd met a great enemy. Everyone in our circle knows. The relationship between me and the two Su sisters is like fire and water. They've known me for over a decade, so they know the sisters' temperaments better than any outsider. Su Yujie had a Czechoslovakian wolfdog shed raised since childhood. When she was 17, because she was unhappy with Su Wanning's control, she let the wolf out to bite the then 19-year-old Su Wanning. To everyone's surprise, Su Wanning didn't say a word, but killed the dog with a single knife strike. This incident threw the Su family into chaos. Su Jiangguo and Bak Nugok Tran questioned them both. Su Yujie wouldn't admit Shed ordered the dog, and Su Wanning conspired with the family chef to claim I wanted to eat dog meat, so I forced them to kill the dog. Su Jiangguo and Bak Nok Tran knew full well I didn't do it, but still punished me with a month of solitary confinement to reflect. A month later, Su Yujie, wanting revenge on Su Wanning, slipped into the company where Su Wanning was interning at the time and cut the main power breaker. The entire company suddenly lost power, causing important data to be lost before it could be saved, resulting in over 1 million yuan in damages. Su Wanning didn't say a word either. She grabbed a hammer and rushed to the garage, smashing Su Yujie's favorite sports car to pieces. When responsibility for this was investigated, naturally, Su Yujie's fault was greater. Su Yujie falsely accused me of cutting the power because I was playing around. Su Jiangguo and Bak Nugok Tran still knew the truth but continued to indulge Su Yujie, and locked me up again right after I'd been released, sentencing me to another month of confinement. I was only 9 years old that year, and from that moment on, I understood that my parents only cared about my two older sisters. Whenever my sisters made a mistake, I was the one who took the hit, because I was essentially not valued at all. Through these two incidents, I saw the true nature of my two sisters clearly. The eldest sister was violent. The second sister was eccentric. If I wanted to grow up in peace, I had to use strategy to deal with these two sisters. After Ye Jinghui and Lin Lan found out, they felt more than once that me surviving under Su Wanning and Su Yujie until age 17 was an incredibly massive stroke of luck. Ye Jinghui had a worried look on his face. Honestly, You're going to a private dinner with the Su family's eldest lady. Maybe just call the police beforehand to be safe. Her temperament is very unpredictable. I'm really afraid that if you say something she doesn't like, she'll just start throwing punches immediately. Lin Lan gave Ye Jinghuai a side eye. How about you go with Wanning then? Didn't you agree? To Ji Zaran that you'd be Wanning's personal bodyguard. Yi Jinghuai took a sharp breath, shaking his head violently. I can't beat Su Wanning in a fight either. I originally thought she was quite gentle. If I hadn't seen someone talk bad about Wanning at last year's party, and then happened to catch the scene where Su Wanning annihilated them, then I wouldn't be this worried.
Fine. Okay.
You two can rest easy.
Su Wanning won't go as far as attacking me. Ye Jinghuai pulled up a chair and sat next to me. That's not a guarantee. When you're in danger, the two Su sisters will protect you with all their hearts. But when you're not in danger, then the two of them are the greatest danger. That house arrest stuff is just minor. Did you forget when Su Yuji broke your ribs? Did you forget when Su Wanning made you limp for half a year? I rubbed my nose. I didn't know what to say. The ribs were indeed broken by Ngak Keet Nuna. But as for my leg limping, I really can't blame Wanning Nuna. When I was 12, Su Wanning took me out to play. The result was we got surrounded by an opponent's men. At the time, Su Wanning didn't have bodyguards with her. Two hands couldn't fight off so many people, especially when the other side had 8 men. Su Wanning couldn't protect me perfectly. I was struck on the knee with a club, breaking my left leg instantly. Thankfully, I knew a bit of martial arts too, so the injury wasn't too severe. When the club came down, I managed to dodge a little. I only limped for half a year before recovering completely. During that half year, Ji Zaran personally drove me to school. I heard from Ji Zaran later that those 8 men were all had their legs broken by Su Wanning. The way she dealt with them was incredibly ruthless. Su Wanning got revenge for me in her own way, but just thinking about it still makes me shiver. That's why I still don't have much affection for Su Wanning. This person always leaves others unable to guess what she's thinking, and she's full of murderous intent. Her methods are cruel. I smiled comfortingly. Don't worry. I've been dealing with them for 17 years. I won't lose out. Ye Jinghuai let out a long sigh, scratching his head in frustration. All right then, since Ji Zaran is also in Jing City, if anything happens, call for backup immediately. Well, come to rescue you right away. The sky had gradually turned toward evening. It was time for school to let out. I packed my school bag, taking a deep breath. I really don't want to go deal with Su Wanning at all, but I have no choice. I can't escape it. When I reached the school gate, I saw that familiar red Mercedes. Unexpectedly, Su Wanning actually got out of the car to pick me up, which was rare. I curled my lip and spoke, speaking with a sarcastic tone. The Su family's eldest lady personally coming to pick me up. It truly makes me feel overwhelmed by the favor. Su Wanning looked around, not seeing anyone in the know. One high school uniform waiting here. She had someone investigate Li Shoying, knowing she comes here every day after school to pick me up. But she was nowhere to be seen today. Su Wanning asked, "Where's that cheap older sister of yours?" I slung my bag over my shoulder and answered indifferently, "Didn't you invite me to dinner?" So I told her to head home first. Su Wanning's gaze turned cold, a coldness that radiated a hint of danger. You're quite protective of her, aren't you? I gave a faint smile, meeting those cold eyes. I'm just very wary of you. We faced off with our eyes, fierce, with neither backing down, neither willing to be outdone. Ye Jinghuai and Lin Lan were secretly watching from behind a large tree, silently sweating with worry for me. The atmosphere was as tense as a drawn bowstring. I'm afraid they won't even wait to reach the restaurant. A fight could break out right here and now, because they were standing far away. I couldn't hear a thing. Ye Jinghuai whispered to himself. What are they saying? The smell of gunpowder is so strong over there. He only saw Su Wanning's lips move a few times. They've only said 2 sentences. And it's already come to this? Lin Lan suggested that for safety. I think we should go around the back door to be safer. You disloyal thing. I have to stay here and watch. In case Su Wanning makes a move, then I can rush in to help. Can you even win? Even if I can't, I can at least call the police. Before they could finish arguing over how to help, the person coming to break things up appeared. Su Jingchen ran over in his school uniform. He intentionally shoved his way between us, eagerly reaching out to hug Su Wanning's arm. Big sister, at the last reunion banquet.
Why didn't you come?
I've always envied others who are loved by their sisters. Su Wanning leaned away to avoid Su Jingchen's hand, leaving his hand hanging awkwardly in midair. I rolled my eyes, thinking it wasn't fair to Li Shoying. The younger brother, shed pampered for over a decade, is now standing in front of someone else saying he longs for a sister's love, as if while he was at the Li household, Li Shoying had made him suffer grievances. Rest assured, meeting a sister like Su Wanning, you'll certainly be loved to the fullest later on. I turned to leave. Su Wanning suddenly grabbed my wrist tightly. Did I give you permission to leave? Her grip was so strong it made my wrist bone ache. I paused for a moment, but couldn't break free, so I stopped trying to struggle. Is the Su family's eldest lady planning a public kidnapping? You think you can just walk away like that? If not, what do you want with me? I curled my lips slightly. I knew full well how ruthless Su Wanning's methods were, but not to the point she'd attack me here. Su Wanning spoke concisely. Get in the car. I raised an eyebrow. Your brother is waiting right there. I can't attend to you. Su Wanning leaned in close to my ear and lowered her voice. Do I need to tell the driver to go pick up the Li family? Clearly a threat. I clenched my teeth. Su Wanning, do you think Im's still subject to your threats? Don't force me to knock you out and toss you into the car. Su Wanning seemed to have run out of patience. I smirked with a half smile. Go ahead and try.
Let's see what kind of trouble Su Yuji makes for you.
In the Su family, it wasn't just me and the two ladies at odds. Even between the two of them, they were irreconcilable. They've been bickering since they were little, always finding ways to sabotage each other, and then blaming it all on me. But later on, I used Su Yuji to check Su Wanning, and used Su Wanning to restrain Su Yuji. Thanks to that, I no longer had to suffer losses. Although both faces were calm, the air was extremely tense, as if about to explode, making everyone around feel a terrifying pressure. Su Jingchen stood there dazed, feeling a chill in his heart. He spoke up cautiously, trying to break the frozen atmosphere. Big sister, let bygones be bygones. I don't blame Wanning at all. You don't need to give him a hard time just for my sake. Su Wanning didn't even spare a glance at Su Jingchen, dragging me straight toward the car door. The driver had already quickly opened the back door. I was half forced into the car. Wait. Su Jingchen chased after us, clinging to the car door. Big sister, I know you feel sorry for me, because I was lost outside for over a decade, but you can't act so impulsively. After all, Wanning has been your brother for 17 years. Su Wanning finally looked directly at her blood brother. Im not lacking a brother. A spark of joy flashed in Su Jingchen's heart. Sure enough, Su Wanning was standing up for him. However, Su Wanning suddenly changed her tone. Her voice was very soft, but every word she spoke was as sharp as a knife. And I certainly don't lack someone like you. The car door slammed shut, hiding Su Jingchen's pale face. I looked at him through the window, then suddenly lowered the glass, flashing a radiant smile.
Oh, right.
Make sure to practice your writing skills when you get home. Next time something like this happens.
I won't help you again.
After all, an ingrate is worse than a dog. The moment the car started rolling, Su Jingchen finally collapsed completely, screaming, Li Xingyuan.
You're just a fake.
Why? His voice was swallowed by the engine noise. The inside of the car fell into a deep silence. Su Wanning gently turned the amber bracelet on her wrist. Satisfied now, I watched the shrinking figure in the rearview mirror. Eldest Miss Su. Saying that makes it sound like I'm bullying your biological brother. He isn't. I only have one younger brother. Hearing that, I turned my head and saw Su Wanning's gaze fixed on my face. Then it quickly shifted away, though I'm just a heartless kid. The only sister I have is Li Shouying. Su Wanning's crimson lips tightened, and after a long silence, she finally spoke. You used to love this restaurant. I stopped liking it a long time ago. I stared at the scenery blurring past the window. There isn't a single good memory left in my mind. Standing behind Su Jingchen, nearby, Feng Wu's eyes darkened. It seems I miscalculated my move. Su Wanning clearly doesn't care about her biological brother, Su Jingchen. She doesn't even treat Su Jingchen with half the respect she shows Xingyuan. If I keep submissively serving Su Jingchen, I'm certain I won't get any benefits. Since that's the case, seeking an outside influence might not be a bad idea. I heard Chu Linger from Class 3 lost her parents early. She lives with her aunt. Her aunt belongs to a powerful family in Heir City. She's unmarried and has no children. Perhaps Chu Linger will inherit the entire fortune. If I could marry Chu Linger, I could rise to the top in a single bound. I could also get away from the Jingcheng elite and stop being the target of my family's gossip. It really is the perfect choice. Making up his mind, Feng Wu smirked, without even glancing at the soulless, dazed Su Jingchen anymore. He turned and headed toward the school's back gate, and left. Night fell. The glass walls reflected the city lights, shimmering like a sea of stars. They also reflected my weary, frustrated face, dragging me out all this way for dinner. What exactly do you want to say, Nuna? After all the years we've spent fighting, I'm too tired to beat around the bush with Su Wanning. You came looking for me yesterday, dragged me around for nothing, and now you set up this special dinner date. I suppose you have things you just can't stop yourself from saying. Su Wanning took a sip of red wine and spoke calmly. Are they treating you well? I couldn't help but laugh. After all that effort, did you really just want to ask me such a pointless question? No matter how bad it gets, it's never as bad as being a son of the Siu family. Su Wanning's expression remained unchanged. She calmly set down her wine glass, showing no reaction to my answer. She knew I intended to escape her control once I grew up. Over the past 2 years, she still gave me plenty of investment advice, so I'd have enough assets to protect myself. But she never expected me to return to the Li family and live with those penniless, worthless people. Clearly, with the properties and assets I own, with just a little bit of management, it would be enough for me to live in luxury forever. Yet here I am, meddling in others' affairs, helping the Li family, wasting my time, and wasting my resources. Su Wanning said briefly, I won't be leaving again after this return. If you don't want to go back to the Su family, come live with me. I paused my cutlery and looked up at her. Do you think it's just the house that I dislike? Su Wanning sliced her steak, while remaining silent. She seemed not to know how to respond. My existence, to her and Su Yuji, was the only joy in that suffocating, heartless home, whether it was arguments, or fights, or even plotting against each other. At least it involved a living person with emotions. After I left, that house became a mere factory for research machines. She and Su Yujie didn't want to go back there anymore. Even though a new brother has moved in now, It's no longer the sanctuary they desire. Su Wanning actually understood deep down that what I loathed wasn't just that cold house, nor was it just the heartless Su couple, but also the two unpredictable sisters, her and Su Yujie. So, do you prefer that place at the Lee house, which isn't even as big as your old room? Or is it the Lee family themselves you like? Do you like having Li Shuiying as your sister? A barrage of questions followed. Her tone was as calm as ever, but I could hear the underlying anger in her voice. I immediately looked at her warily. If you dare touch anyone in the Li family, this will be the last time I ever see you.